ESPN Radio and on ESPN News.
Today on the Fantasy Focus Football Podcast,
now we have even more flexibility available for you. Leagues that have a league manager now have the ability to add bench spots.
Find us wherever you listen to podcasts.
Coming up later, we give you all the reaction as Major League Baseball's postseason marches on towards the World Series. That's all coming up 4 Eastern on Chinangolo Jr. here on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
It's the ESPN Dayton hashtag We Want to Get Paid Cash Contest. Be listening every hour for the word that wins and enter it at wingam.com. WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
Going right back to the same one, aren't you? I did it on the Diamonds theme, huh? Yes, sir. That's how we're starting off today. Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome in. Justin Kinner Show live here with Kev Nash on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. A lot to get into. So let's get this clear. By a week from today, by the time we are, when we're sitting here in these seats, a week from today, we'll just be a few days away from Ohio State. Finally, I can't say it like The Rock, but finally kicking off the 2020 season. But I'm going to tell you right now why as we get closer to Ohio State's season and the more that keeps happening around the world of college football right now, I'm becoming a little concerned. Because when you look around the world of college football right now, Alabama's head coach Nick Saban, of course, yesterday the big news that literally happened right as we were signing off, test positive for COVID-19. Nick Saban, of course, right now will not be on the sidelines for the Alabama-Georgia game, the most anticipated game of the college football season to this point. Definitely the highlight game of the week. What week is it in college football? Week 7. So week 7 of the college football season. But Florida and LSU, that game has already been postponed. We've seen multiple programs already face postponement. We've already seen multiple programs be impacted by the coronavirus. Now, keep in mind, when you talk about programs like Florida, when you talk about programs like LSU and the ACC and the SEC and the Big 12 and all these conferences who have kicked off a month ago, which, by the way, we are a month into the college football season. Ohio State is very late to the party. The Big 10 is very late to the party. The Big 10 has zero margin for error when it comes to the coronavirus. I don't mean zero margin for error as in mistakes during a game. Ohio State has some wiggle room there as far as I'm concerned, but that's not really what I want to talk about today. When you look at the scenario that is happening right now with college football, LSU, Florida, they get to postpone their game. You know why it's not a big deal that they're missing this week? It's because they have a weekend at the end of the year that they're able to get that game in. If LSU or Florida, which right now with Florida getting a big loss this past weekend, they're really not going to be in the college football playoff conversation, barring some other big losses that kind of help them a little bit. But let's say that Florida was still undefeated and Florida really needed this game. And this game was going to be it was going to have a huge impact on the college football playoff when that time comes. This would be devastating. So we've yet to see a big time matchup be impacted to this point yet by a postponement or, heaven forbid, a situation where you can't make it up. LSU, Florida can make up a game at the end of the year. If LSU's out, but if Florida all of a sudden, kind of creeps back into this and they become, back into the college football playoff conversation, they're fortunate that they get to make up a big game late in the year against LSU. What happens, folks, when this happens to Ohio State here in a week and a half? The Big Ten, there are no bye weeks. It's 8 straight weeks. It's a sprint to the finish line. There is zero margin for error. Not only does Ohio State have this going against them, this being the fact that everyone else is a month into the season. Clemson's a month into the season. Clemson's already had a few primetime games. Clemson's coming off a primetime game this past weekend against Miami. Clemson just beat a top 10 opponent under the lights on primetime as the game of the week. Clemson's doing fine. Georgia and Alabama, they're going to have the biggest matchup of the college football season coming up this weekend. They're going to be just fine. Ohio State, you have Nebraska right off the bat. Maybe Nebraska has a positive outbreak. Then what? You postpone it? You can't. There's nowhere to move the games to. Ohio State this Saturday, 8 straight weeks, 2 months from Saturday. It's a sprint to the finish line. There will be no opportunity for Ohio State to make up games. And they need every game they can get, because for Ohio State, it's not about who they're playing. It's about how many games they are going to play. Because I'm telling you right now, if I'm Georgia or Alabama or Clemson, I don't want Ohio State anywhere near the playoff if they don't at least have 8 games on the season. I don't care if we already know how good Ohio State is. I don't care if we just assume that if things were normal, Ohio State would be number 2 in the country right now. Because although we do have to be understandable, we do have to be compassionate, we do have to understand that it's not the same for everybody because of COVID, we can't get to a playoff with an Ohio State team only playing 6 to 7 games. I think we're pushing it with them just playing 8 while everyone else is playing 10 and 11, to be honest with you. Especially teams out of the SEC. I'm not defending teams out of the SEC. I'm looking at this. I'm trying to take my Buckeye cap off and just look at this from how I would view this from any perspective. If the Big Ten had started playing on time, I promise a lot of Buckeye fans would be upset had the SEC started late. We would be making the same arguments that I'm trying to make right now that, well, why should Alabama just get a spot in the playoff just because we assume that they're good and they played 3 or 4 less games than us? That might happen to Ohio State. Folks, what happens if Ohio State has a positive outbreak and there's no postponing, by the way. Like right now, so for instance, Nick Saban tests positive for the coronavirus. That news broke yesterday. So far, I have yet to read an article that has come out to say that the test results for the players who all tested today have come back. If even one player tests positive coming back after being around Coach Nick Saban, that game's postponed. Which, you know what? That sucks for this weekend. Still good for Alabama. Still good for Georgia. They could still get that game in later on in the season. Folks, week 2 for Ohio State is Penn State. What happens if Penn State and Ohio State have a positive test, a single positive test? They're in trouble. There are no bye weeks. There are no games. There are no weekends built into the back end of the schedule for them to be able to make that game up. And let's be clear here. The only game that is worth anything to Ohio State right now is that Penn State game. They have zero margin for error. If the Penn State game is canceled, not postponed, because you can't postpone it. There's nowhere to postpone it to. If you cancel that Penn State game, I'm not trying to stir the pot here. I'm not trying to get people angry. I need you guys to be very realistic here. If Ohio State cannot play Penn State, Ohio State should not get into the college football playoff if they don't get that game in. Because not only would they not have played anybody all year, they would have played 3 less games than the SEC and ACC. Like, that's where I have a hard time with this. And it's not Ohio State's fault. I'm not punishing them. But this was totally handled wrong by Kevin Warren and the Big Ten. And I'm trying to figure out why it was mid-August when the decision came that the Big Ten would officially kick off at the end of October. And I'm thinking, why did they need a month and a half to prepare? They'd already been practicing on a limited basis. They could have kicked off 2 weeks ago. They should have kicked off 2 weeks ago. Kicking off 2 weeks ago would have given them that bubble and that cushion to have postponement games later on in the year. And right now, Ohio State and the Big Ten, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. And it's not the team's fault. It's not Penn State's fault. It's not Gene Smith and Ohio State's fault. I'm blaming the Big Ten. I'm not just going to point the finger at Kevin Warren because Kevin Warren made a lot of funky decisions, but he was basically just announcing the decisions that were made by university presidents. It wasn't all Kevin Warren. The university presidents played a role in this too. So I want to sum up by saying this. The Big Ten's in trouble. They have a zero margin for error. I'm not even talking about postponements. We've yet to even get to Kev's point that I know he's going to talk about. A player test positive, that they're out for 3 weeks. Ooh-wee. So that's insane to me. All I'm saying is after the news yesterday and just seeing how many games are being postponed and bumped around and moved around, I'm worried. I'm concerned. The Big Ten season, it's going to happen. But again, if you're Ohio State and you only play 7 games, Kev, you're not getting in the playoff. Like, you can't justify putting a team who's only played 7 games in, even if it is the Ohio State University, if they only get 7 games in this year, you cannot put them in the college football playoff. That is not right. It's not right to Ohio State, but it's also not right to the teams who have been competing for a month now before they even kicked off. What do you think?
I think if Ohio State is undefeated and they only play 7 games, they'll still get in because of the fact that everybody has their own rules. This is the Wild Wild West right now, as we've been talking about for months now. We don't know what's going to happen. different rules for different conferences. 21 days you're out if you test positive if you're a player in the Big Ten. There are no such rules like that in the SEC and ACC. In the Big 12, they have a player count. Like you got to have 2 quarterbacks available. You got to have 6 offensive linemen available. They approach it that way. So every conference has their own rules about.
You have to have 53 scholarship players.
Yeah, every conference has their own rules about who and how they're going to be playing games. So I just deem it as if Ohio State runs the table, they're going to get in, regardless of the fact. Regardless.
And as much as I want them in, that ain't right. That ain't right. But if you only play 7 games, and David Shaw says a single positive does not cancel the game. It's based on percentage of positives on the team. But David, let's use our brains here. If there's can you name a scenario where only one player is tested positive? These players are around one another. Mm-hmm. These players are practicing every day. They are living in the same dorms. Like they are around each other. We could say, one player doesn't do it. You're right about the percentage. That's what we talked. You need 53. I think, if I'm not mistaken, LSU or Florida, one of the two dropped below that. I think Florida would only have 50 scholarship players available this weekend. And by the way, if I'm it's going to be interesting too, because like if a team knows they're going to be without a starter, like Ohio State, let's say they have a couple positives and it's not Justin Fields and all that. I mean, again, it's that next man up mentality. But I mean, how many teams are going to really push? Some teams would push for a postponement before they would push for playing without some of their top players, including a star wide receiver, a star quarterback, running back, etc. So that's where that's going to come into play. The Nick Saban thing's interesting. I listened to his interview earlier today on Get Up, and again, Heather Dinich has been covering that. He's been basically just coaching through Zoom. I mean, they have a coach that's literally holding an iPad at practice, and he is literally just coaching. I think that's kind of cool. I find that kind of interesting as far as that's concerned. He's asymptomatic, showing no symptoms. Concerned about him with his age, especially as far as that's concerned. But I did find it interesting. I looked at the line for that game. Just by Nick Saban being out, there's no talk of any player being out. The line shifted. They lost 3 points against Georgia just because he's out this weekend.
He's the guy, man. He's the guy in college football. He's the one that everybody fears.
That's nuts. So,
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, this is a microcosm of how we are as a country, man, because so many other coaches have tested positive for COVID, from Kevin Sumlin. I can't remember who else tested positive, but now that it's Nick Saban, it's on ESPN nonstop.
Les Miles just tested positive.
And he's coaching at Kansas. So, but, that's the thing about it. Like, it's a big to do now. And I was watching and, why can't he coach from home? And like, where was this when these other coaches tested positive? But that's like the microcosm of the country we live in right now, and everybody's situation. It's because he's a big dog, people are more concerned. And that's how I have to understand that. I need to be more understanding. Like, that's how people think, that since it's a big dog and it's an important coach and it's an important team to the masses, that's how people are going to react, because the little guys caught it. Nobody said anything. Oh man, Coach Joe Blow from blah, blah state caught it. Hope he does well. Nick Saban got it, man. He's got to be able to coach. Like, I just think the hypocrisy, as you love to point out, is just,
I don't know if it's hypocrisy.
Nick
Saban's calling that out. Nick Saban in the interview today said, he goes, we are pushing hard to figure out if there's a way for me to be able to have communication with our team. If those coaches didn't want to inquire about that, that's on them, Nick Saban. But for a guy who's always prepared, don't you think that would have been something that would have already been addressed? And I feel like that had to have been addressed at some point. You're out, you're out. I mean, if you're out because of you're fighting other illnesses in a normal season, you're not communicating on the sidelines. I don't see why. I don't think I don't think an adaptation should be made for that. I just think, hey, you're out for health reasons. Focus on your health. You have Sarkisian. He's a real head coach. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's a coordinator, but he's a real head coach. Like, he knows what he's doing.
And that goes back to each conference has their own rules, because when Mike Norvell had COVID, the ACC said, you're out. You can't do that, coach. As soon as your team leaves for the field, you're done. Like, you can do a pregame speech on Zoom. You can't talk to the team till after the game is over. But we don't know the rules in the SEC. The SEC rules could be totally different. And that's the whole thing about the NCAA. There is so many different rules for so many different parties. It's just hard to keep up with because, like David was saying, is it the percentage of players? Is that the same way in the Big Ten? I don't know because
Big Ten's a percentage of players.
Okay. I don't know because the only thing that they keep talking about is 21 days if you test positive. So it's so many different rules and so many.
Well, that is a percentage of players for a postponement. If one player tests positive, that dude's out for 3 weeks.
Right.
So this is the thing, folks. And real quick, so this was the question. 457-9464. We're going to open up the phone lines. We are live on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. You could follow along there, listen, stream, and now watch. It just got me to thinking about everything going on right now. I'm like, Ohio State's only playing 8 games this year. There's no margin for error at all. Like they have to get all 8 games in. And even with the 8 games, I still think that's really pushing it as far as how some of the other conferences are perceiving the fairness of this. And again, it's not Ohio State's fault, but again, it's not always about whose fault it is. It's sometimes just the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation, regardless of whose fault it is, Ohio State's already only playing 8 games, which I think could be overlooked. But it can't be overlooked if they only play 7. And what I mean is Florida, LSU got postponed this weekend. Who's to say that it's not going to happen in the Big Ten? And it will happen in the Big Ten. But, folks, you want to know why it won't happen in the Big Ten? There's no weeks at the back end of the schedule to allow for them to make up games. There's no bye weeks for them to postpone games too. All right? So, literally, the Big Ten season is going to walk you right up to that conference championship weekend or whatever it is that the Big Ten is doing with the 1 seed and all that. And then the selection show. College football has already pushed back the selection show. They're not going to do it again. Now, we'll find out just how much Ohio State means to them. Maybe they do push it back. Maybe the College Football Playoff Committee says, hey, due to unforeseen circumstances, which is not unforeseen, this should have been thought about. I think it's bad leadership on the Big Ten's part. Again, we were so excited to have it back. I don't think we really grasped, wait a minute, there's no room for anything. You can't make anything up. The only way to make it up is to play after the selection show. And the College Football Playoff Committee can't vote on 7 games and just assuming you're going to win. Even if it is a game against Rutgers or whatever, we know Ohio State would destroy them, but you still only up to that point have 7. So 457-9464. The question I have for everybody is this, is if Ohio State only gets 7 games in, how concerned are you? How concerned are you if Ohio State is forced to postpone a game? I would be very concerned as far as that is concerned when it's all said and done. But 457-9464, Kev, who we got?
We got Keith on the line.
Keith, welcome in, sir. How are you?
Hey, Mr. Justin, God bless. Glad to see football seasons come back to college, but I just turned in and listened to you, and I'm a person that believes it'd be foolish if, like your partner there said, if Ohio State Buckeyes did a really good job this year showing that they're a contender, I think it would look stupid for some football fans to not allow them have a chance. So things can change. I look at it, things are not supposed to be set in stone. So as the football progresses and some teams get eliminated, I think they should have some insight to maybe, because your partner said, I don't know what his name is, but he said that.
This is Kev Nash.
Yeah, Kevin. God bless Kevin.
Hey, so, God bless Kevin.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is this, that we're living in an unusual time. So they should be able to adjust. Like teams have to adjust. And also I think that the Big Ten, there's teams, Big East and Big West. I don't think it's supposed to be dictated from a certain state. I think certain states should have their own rights to say what they believe.
Well, but you have regardless, I know, but the conference, they all fall under the conference umbrella, and certain teams in certain states obviously have to adhere to certain, laws and rules within those states. I mean, right now, the biggest thing that you're seeing with teams trying to adhere to that is attendance at games. Florida, out of the SEC, they've opened up completely. There are no limitations on attendance. They could have 90,000 fans at their home games. Ohio State's going to have none. I did see that the Pac-12 announced today that families in certain states will be allowed to attend games, so immediate family like we've seen at the high school level. So that's changing all over.
Mr. J, I want to say this time, too. Hey, I really miss Mark, too, because he's a real good guy. And so I hope he's doing well, and maybe come by and say hello. People can hear his voice on the radio once in a while. But I just think that we're living a difficult time, and I would hate to see a great team not be able to play football just because of regulations. So that's what I want to say. And also I said that it took political, like Donald Trump, to push this Big Ten in so they can play football this season. So I want to see good teams play in the national playoffs, and I think Ohio State is a great team.
All right, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Look, and Keith, to be fair, I'm not arguing that Ohio State's not a great football team. This is why it's going to be so controversial. Ohio State is absolutely a playoff team. Like if things started out as normal, it would be Clemson 1, Ohio State 2. And again, I'm just assuming that's what the first poll that came out was. Clemson was 1, Ohio State 2, Alabama 3. And I think that's what it would still be today. I don't think anything would have changed. Nothing would have changed. But that's the point, though, is that when it's all said and done, when it comes down to that final college football playoff poll, and you have the entire body of work, if Ohio State's only played 7 games, and Alabama and Clemson and Georgia, and it's really not Alabama and Clemson that are worried about Ohio State only playing 7. It's going to be that one-loss Georgia team if they lose this weekend to Alabama, or it'll be the one-loss Alabama team if they lose to Georgia this weekend. It could be the one-loss Notre Dame team that loses to Clemson. The teams that are fighting for that 4th and final spot, or even the 3rd spot, they're going to say, hey, I know Ohio State's probably better than us, but you can't reward them they've only played 7 games. We had more chances to lose games because if we would have known that we could have got in with only playing 7, we would have only played 7. So I'm not saying that's going to happen. Ohio State can get all 8 in and we're good to go. But all I'm saying is based on what we just saw from Florida and LSU, if that happens to an Ohio State game, and the most dangerous game that can happen to is obviously the Michigan game, just for the tradition standpoint, but the Penn State game, the game that really is going to propel Ohio State into the playoff because of a resume standpoint, it's Penn State. If that game gets canceled, that's not good. That's really going to put Ohio State in a very tough spot because we know they're good, and we always do this I always say, I don't need to see them play somebody to know that they are somebody, but I need you to play more than 7 somebodies to be in that conversation.
I think the NCAA needs to be more flexible, not only flexible with the schedule, but flexible when they do the college football playoff announcement. If there's scenarios where, both teams from the SEC championship can't play, they need to push it back. And the Big Ten, say there's an outbreak between Ohio State and Wisconsin the week before the Big Ten championship game, and they have to push the game back. They need to push the announcement back.
I wouldn't. We're saying that because we're saying they've already been flexible. They don't need to be flexible.
I just said that for the SEC as well. They need to be flexible. They're being flexible in the NFL. They already talking about plans for week 18 in the NFL. They need to be flexible in college football as well.
I don't think they need to be. They were flexible. The Big Ten had a chance to again. So the Big Ten would be bailed out twice now, 3 times. At some point, you have to be held accountable for not thinking of these things. And the Big Ten has just been, they thought they were a step ahead of everybody, and they've been 2 steps behind everybody as far as that's concerned.
So UC runs the table in that situation they're in, right?
If there's no Ohio State to get in, then sure, why not?
Okay.
If you want to be cute with it. Speaking of Cincinnati, Doug Toby on Facebook says, how about the University of Cincinnati football? They have no off weeks right now, and their schedule shows the Tulsa game being rescheduled on the same date as their conference championship. I hadn't even put that together. Doug, thank you for pointing that out.
Right.
So no, they won't get in. See, they won't even have a conference championship. How about Tulsa, though? Tulsa, so they beat a ranked UCF team.
Yes.
They really held their own against Oklahoma State.
Yes.
And they have 2 or 3 postponements already. And that Tulsa looks like a solid, they're playing high level football. They nothing. They're not gonna be able to make up half these games. It's unfortunate.
Neither is Houston.
So they were supposed to kick off a month ago, and they didn't even play the first month of the season.
They're supposed to kick off in August.
So it was a month and then some. Holy smokes, folks. All right. Hey, everyone, do me a favor. Head to Facebook, search The Justin Kinner Show, and tune in on Facebook. Right now in my hands, I have $25 in Frickers Bucks right here for those of you watching. You hit share. When you share The Justin Kinner Show live right now, your name will automatically be put into a pool to win this $25 in Frickers Fun Bucks. We'll be contacting you on your Facebook page that you share the show with. So go do that right now. Head to Facebook, search The Justin Kinner Show, watch along, and share the page. Share the show right now that you're watching. Hit the share button, and your name will automatically be put into the pool to win $25 in Frickers Fun Bucks. Do that right now. Do it. Go do it.
Man, I played the wrong music. Since you flash those bucks again.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how to make it rain. Hold on. I have to do that cooler. Hold on. I'm embarrassing my.
Coming to the stage.
There we go. That was cool. I did it. Oh, I got to pick that up. 5, 10, 15.
Oh, you go 5.
We're only up on 20. Where's the other? Oh, no, 25. No, we got it. Folks, don't worry. You still get your full $25 Harris Frickers Fun Bucks. Hit the share button. Hit it. We'll be back in a moment. Hey, by the way, the Cincinnati Bengals really upset the defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. He was really upset with something they did late in that game. I'll tell you about that coming up.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Report 3.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with showers, a high near 54. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a frost advisory in place, a low around 35. And tomorrow will be mainly clear with a high near 56. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane. 98% of their customers recommend Cullet. If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, check them out at culletpropane.com.
Ready for renovations? Arts Rental Equipment has the tools you need to make your home, lawn, and garden stand out this year. From brush chippers to cutoff saws, no job is too small or too big. Visit your local Arts store today. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? O'Reilly Auto Parts has everything you need. Our professional parts people can suggest the best products for your car and budget. Like 5 parts of Valvoline conventional motor oil and a MicroGuard filter. Everyday low price, just $26.99. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This holiday season, more people will shop online than ever before. So if you're an e-commerce seller, are you ready for a record-breaking holiday season? Be ready with ShipStation, the fastest, easiest way to ship. Just a few clicks and you're managing orders, printing labels, and getting products out fast. That means happier holidays for you and your customers. ShipStation works with all major e-commerce platforms and shopping carts and gives you the best rates available with all major carriers, including USPS, FedEx, and UPS. You can easily compare carriers and choose the best solution every time. You even get exclusive postage discounts, usually reserved for Fortune 500 companies. So, no matter how many orders you need to fill, you'll always get the best deal. No wonder ShipStation is the #1 choice for online sellers. Be ready for the busiest online shopping season yet with ShipStation.com. Try it today free for 60 days with offer code SKY. Just go to ShipStation.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and type in SKY. ShipStation. Make ship happen.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from the Justin Kinner Show, and I wanted to take some time to tell you about my great experiences with CertaPro Painters. That's right, my experiences, as in more than one. I've had CertaPro Painters complete quite a few painting projects for me over the years, and every time they knock it out of the park, whether it was the Ohio State themed office with the Buckeye stripe wrapped around the room, or when they painted my entire house before move-in day, I could not believe that they knocked out our entire house in just one day. CertaPro Painters knows how to get the job done right, and most importantly, safely during these times. They deliver what they promise. They show up on time, they get the job done right and on budget. Whether it is residential or commercial, interior or exterior, CertaPro Painters will take care of you from the first initial free estimate all the way up to the final brush of paint on your project. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. They are a local business that you can support. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. No-touch freight, home daily lanes. Earn up to $270 per day, $2,000 sign-on bonus. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Apply online, CordellTransportation.com.
You have empty office space to fill. You know what you need, and you know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places that what you need and what you'd like, that might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts, and every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half price and below manufacturer suggested prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best, really. Desks from $50 to $5,000. File cabinets, $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Outlet. With 87,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. 2 locations. One at 23 McOil Street, Dayton. The other, Unique's Unlimited on South Dixie. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6. Saturday, 10 to 4.
David Brandon will make an excellent probate judge.
He's honorable. He's honest. He's a diligent worker, competent, very thorough in his work.
I think he will take the time to be conscientious and thoughtful about his decision making.
It isn't just that he knows the law, though. It's that he cares and why that matters.
Dave Brandon will work hard for the families of Montgomery County.
David was there for me, and I feel like he'll be there for other families as well. He knows the right thing to do.
I am David Brandon, and I approve this message.
Oktoberfest at Milano's has begun. We're serving our once-a-year favorites like schnitzel sandwiches and German pizza. Get it to go or stay for the games with NFL Sunday Ticket. See you at Milano's Pizza, Subs, and Taps for big screen football.
Do you have a home improvement project? Use the right tool for the job and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. Arts has the best selection from power washers and ladders to loaders and dump trailers. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
When you needed your mom, she was always there with the Vicks Vapor Rub. She used that soothing scent to calm you. And her mom used it to calm her. And her mom, well, you get the idea. Vicks Vapor Rub's always been there. It always made you feel better. And today, it still does. Bring back those childhood memories with the comfort and care only Vicks Vapor Rub can bring. Vicks Vapor Rub, family tradition for a reason.
911, what's your emergency?
This car, an SUV, it was going across, it went around the barrier and the train. Oh God.
Ma'am, did a train hit an SUV? Is that what happened?
Yes, the train is still going. The train is going and the car, I can't believe it.
You can't judge the speed of an approaching train. That's why the signals are there. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by NHTSA. Capital One checking and savings accounts have no fees or minimums and a top-rated banking app that lets you manage your money anytime, anywhere, even from your favorite hiking trail. With Capital One's app, you can check your balance, deposit checks, pay bills, and transfer money from wherever you are, anytime you want, even when you're cooking dinner. Open a fee-free checking or savings account online in about 5 minutes. This is banking reimagined. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Consumer accounts only. Approval required. Terms apply. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states and MLS number 3030.
Staples helps your business go big with everything you need at amazing prices. From office essentials like paper and ink to health essentials like masks and sanitizer. Save big at Staples.
Hey, who wants free money? Who are we kidding? We all do. It's the ESPN Dayton hashtag We Want to Get Paid Cash Contest. Listen for the word that wins 18 times a day, starting at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. Enter the keyword at wingam.com for your chance to win $1,000. It's the ESPN Dayton hashtag We Want to Get Paid Cash Contest. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
All right, we are back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. If you are just tuning in, keep in mind you can listen to us on the radio, of course, at 1410 Wing AM. You can also stream us live at wingam.com. And now you can watch us on Facebook. Head to Facebook, search The Justin Kinner Show, like and follow the show. But if you hit share, all right, if you share the page today and tomorrow, your name, whatever Facebook name you're using to share it, you'll be eligible to win $25 in Frickers Fun Bucks. I have that $25 in Frickers Bucks right here in my hand. It will be yours. Well, one of yours. You have to share it. The only way you'll be eligible to win this is if you share it.
Do the thing.
Not doing it.
Do the thing.
No, it's not the right music.
Oh, you need the right music?
I need the yeah. There we go. See? Let's see. I did it right earlier. Hold on. Nope. I'm gonna lose. I'm bending a potential winner's money over here, trying to make it rain. So there you go.
Coming to the stage.
All right, folks. Again, head to Facebook, like the Justin Kidder Show page, and share it. Okay, share the show where you can watch it right there. When you're watching it, hit the share button down at the bottom, and your name will automatically be eligible to win the $25 in Frickers Bucks. So something interesting actually did happen in the Bengals game this past weekend. I mean, in the 27-3 final. I was like, well, there's not a whole lot going on there. I mean, the only number I really paid attention to outside of the score, Kev, was the amount of times that Joe Burrow was sacked. And after that, I really didn't care. Bengals 1-3-1 on the season. Their biggest goal for the rest of the year is just hopefully Joe Burrow can still walk when it's all said and done after the regular season gets there. So 27-3 was the final. Something interesting happened in that 27-3 final, Kev, and I found this interesting. So Randy Bullock hits a 38-yard field goal. 14. I'm trying to see here what time there was in the fourth quarter with 32 seconds remaining. With 32 seconds remaining, the Bengals were shut out 27-0. They kick a field goal with 32 seconds left. Mm-hmm. Now, trying to figure out on that play. What down it was. Did they just kick it so they avoided the shutout? Because apparently that's the problem here. So I found this interesting. In this article that came out, ESPN highlighted this, that the Baltimore Ravens defensive coordinator, he's unhappy with the Cincinnati Bengals because the Ravens had a shutout going and they kicked a field goal and it pissed him off. Mm-hmm. That's weak. So here, real quick, I'm sorry, but here's the quote. So, and again, this is Jamison Hensley, covers the Ravens for ESPN. Says that the Ravens defensive coordinator, Don Wink Martindale, expressed anger when the Bengals kicked a field goal to avoid a shutout in Baltimore's 27-3 victory this past Sunday. Cincinnati trailed 27-0. Zach Taylor chose to kick a 38-yard field goal with 37 seconds left in the game. It marked, and I love that they have a stat for this. This is stupid. I'm defending the Bengals here big time. Like this, I can't believe that this is a thing. Someone wasted time writing this, and a defensive coordinator out there actually wasted time with reporters talking about it. This marks, okay, again, it was 27-0. There was 30 plus seconds remaining. Zach Taylor chose to kick a field goal to avoid the shutout, which I have no problem with. 27-3 looks better than 27-0. That's common sense. Any coach who could try to avoid being shut out, that's a good thing. But apparently they have a stat for this. This marks only the fifth time since 1970, and during the merger, Kevin, I mean, this is very detailed, that a team kicked a field goal in the final minute to avoid a shutout, according to ESPN Stats and Information.
That can't be right.
This is stupid. The Bengals did nothing wrong. I can't believe, this is even a thing. I had to reread this. I'm clearly missing something of substance here. And it's just a whiny baby defensive coordinator upset because Zach Taylor chose to kick a field goal with under 30 seconds left to avoid the shutout, as you should. I mean, I don't get that. Of course, I don't know. I don't defend the Bengals much, but they didn't do one single tiny thing wrong here. Absolutely ridiculous.
We're going to get the sounder sooner or later. Cream. What does cream mean?
To the top? I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Cash rules everything around me.
What the hell's cream? What does that have to do? I mean, so that's
always about the money.
But why would I know that?
It's
Am
about
I supposed to know
the money.
That? Why can't you just say it's always about the money? Why do you got to set me up to fail?
Because we've been doing it all summer.
I haven't heard you say cream in a while.
Keep it locked in here. I'll get a drop.
This is turning weird. So
okay. It's about the money because I am sure that the defensive coordinator has clauses in his contract about shutouts and about points per game that they let up. as a defensive coordinator, because players have those incentives in their contract as well. Like, hey, if you are a part of the number one defense, you get a bonus. If you get X amount of sacks, you get a bonus. You get X amount of interceptions, you get a bonus. And that is part of the deal. It has to be. I'm almost guaranteeing if somebody was to dig into his contract like that, they'll find incentives like that to say, hey, if you get, I don't know, 3 shutouts in one season, you get $100,000 bonus. I am guaranteeing there's incentives in contracts about that. Guaranteeing. And this is one that they basically had in the bag that the Bengals took away. Rightfully so. Hey, if you got a chance to score, score it. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we see so many times teams that do get shut out just chucking it to the end zone from the 10-yard line where they could just put a field goal on the board to save like themselves a little bit of embarrassment. So, I mean, I'm with the Bengals and I'm with Wink Martindale too, man. You messing with my money.
Oh, I'm not with him at all. Like, you're messing with this, like, but you're not messing with his money. The Bengals weren't looking at it like, hey, can I get a contract status on that defensive coordinator?
No.
Okay.
They don't care as they shouldn't care.
That's ridiculous. This whole thing's ridiculous. So, like, this article goes on more like they have receipts. They have receipts here. Yeah. So, in 1970, Bengals coach Paul Brown chose to kick a field goal in the final minute of a 38-3 loss to the Lions. In 2006, Tampa Bay, John Gruden decided to kick a field goal with no time left in a 20-3 loss to the Steelers. Yes, as you should. How is that any different than late in the basketball game? Oh, well, this game's out of reach. I'm so sick. This team's done for. They're toast. Why are they even shooting the ball? Why are they taking an open layup? Why are they taking a 3? Shut up. Yeah. Just shut up. This is the dumbest thing. As if I needed more reasons to hate the Ravens. Now the biggest one is that they're making me sit here and defend the Bengals like you wouldn't believe. But John Harbaugh was asked about this, and he was more diplomatic in his response. Said that he said the defense would have loved the shutout, but that it wouldn't have been a factor if Baltimore had stopped Cincinnati on either one of the 4th and 1 situations on that final drive. He closes it out by saying, I guess you have to look at it that way. Harbaugh said, I'll just leave it at that. Leave it that way. Shouldn't leave it at that. Leave it at that. Give me a break. Harbaugh. Get rid of Harbaugh. I can't wait for when my prediction comes true.
Which prediction is that? You make a lot of them.
The new coach in Baltimore.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Eric Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy will be in Baltimore next year. That's my prediction. So the Bengals have the Colts this coming up weekend, 7.5-point dogs. We'll talk about that matchup coming up more around the corner. Also, AJ Green in the news today. He says, hey, you know what? I want to stay with the Cincinnati Bengals. And it sounded all cute and adorable the last couple of years when Bengals fans thought that it was the A.J. Green of old. When the A.J. Green of old says, man, I want to stay being a Cincinnati Bengal, everyone oohs and ahs and they feel all warm inside. But when old A.J. Green says, I want to remain a Bengal, the oohing and ahhing stops and the screaming and hollering and all that picks up. A.J. Green says he wants to remain a Cincinnati Bengal. Should the Cincinnati Bengals want him to remain with the organization? We'll talk about that when we come back. 457-9464. That's the number to call in and join in on the conversation. We got our Week 6 NFL picks coming up around the corner as well. Top of the hour, we will dive into that. Don't go anywhere. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash next.
Oh, look, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We've been expecting you. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
What are real people saying about Skechers Arch Fit footwear? Joe from Hilton Head says, I need arch support, and these shoes have it. Joe, Skechers Arch Fit don't just have arch support, they have podiatrist-certified arch support that was developed with over 20 years of data. Next, Pete from New York writes, great for walking. I stand a lot of work, and the Arch Fit keeps me comfortable. My feet don't feel tired at the end of the day. Okay, Pete gets it. He's walking, working, just living in Skechers Arch Fit. These shoes are great for virtually everybody. Find podiatrist-certified Skechers Arch Fit at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
College football, it's the game you wake up early on Saturdays for, even though kickoff isn't until 7. The game where the Goodyear blimp becomes a Hall of Famer. The game that goes just beyond school, spirit, fandom, or love of the sport. It's the game where the comebacks happen. It's the game where anything can and will happen as long as you have the drive. Because college football is the game that moves you. We get it because it moves us too. Goodyear, more driven.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right? Making sure you have no holes in your defense. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. And you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data and 2G. No contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Election Day is November 3rd. If you plan to vote by mail, plan ahead at usps.com/votinginfo. There you will find helpful resources, such as guidance for successfully using the mail, links to find your state's rules and deadlines, information for military and overseas voters, and more. The U.S. Postal Service is ready to deliver for you. Make sure you're ready too. Start today at usps.com/votinginfo.
Roosters would like to thank all of our loyal guests and all the loyal Buckeye fans for your support this year. Because of you, we've been able to stay open and keep our award-winning team employed. Our team members go above and beyond and are dedicated to providing you and your family the safest dining experience possible while still providing a fun, casual atmosphere to relax, laugh, and enjoy our award-winning food. Roosters, the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
O'Reilly. This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Where is your haircut gone? We know you don't get out as much. You don't drive by your regular Sport Clips and pop in for that MVP haircut experience that is so much more than a haircut. But isn't it worth getting out for? For that legendary hot steam towel for your face, massaging shampoo that makes you melt into your seat. Oh man, you remember that, right? We found your haircut. It's right where you left it. Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
John McManus is running hard to be our Montgomery County Treasurer. Montgomery County is already one of the highest tax counties in the state. It seems like every day we're being told to pay higher and higher taxes. Now, in the middle of a pandemic, we're told to get ready for another tax increase next year. When John McManus was vice president of the largest school board in Montgomery County, he fought against property tax increases. As our next county treasurer, he'll stand with us again. This November, vote John McManus for Montgomery County Treasurer.
I'm John McManus, and I approve this message.
Hi, Joey Beckett here at Buckeye Ford in Sydney, home of the Works package and the Double Take Tire specials. Call today for your appointment, 937-419-8473 or 1-800-700-0050. Buckeye Ford in Sydney, exit 92 off of I-75. We'll see you soon.
O'Reilly. Count on the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your car. Get maximum cooling system performance for 10 years or 300,000 miles with Peak Long Life Universal Premixed Antifreeze and Coolant. On sale now for just $5.99 after mail-in rebate. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Polking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun. Looking for some spooky entertainment? Join us at Polking Bowling Centers for a great night out with your friends. And check out Spooktacular Laser Tag, now open at Polking Woodman Lanes. It's Halloween fun for all. Visit polkingbowling.com or Facebook for all the details to schedule your next Halloween bowling party. Safe, sanitized, and socially distanced. Let the good times roll at Polking Lanes in Dayton on Willington Avenue, Polking Woodman Lanes in Kettering on Woodman Drive, and Polking Lane South in Centerville on Kingsridge Drive.
The all-new Audible now gives you thousands of select audiobooks, podcasts, originals, and more, all included with membership. Try it for free for 30 days. Visit audible.com.
NFL fans, the season is finally here. Get your picks submitted at wingam.com. Click on contest and enter the Pro Football Challenge. Weekly winners will win $20 in Frickers Fun Bucks. Get to wingam.com and get your NFL picks submitted now.
Touchdown! Incredible!
Good luck. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
Back to the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
November 3rd, it's the big day. NFL trade deadline. NFL trade deadline coming up. NFL trade deadline coming up on November 3rd. Day after my birthday, by the way.
Okay.
Day after. I'm turning the big 3-1 this year.
Nice.
I dreaded my 30th birthday. I don't know why. I was depressing leaving my 20s, but now I'm going to be 31. I'm like, 31. My 30th year on Earth has sucked.
Yes.
It's actually been a great year. Like, I love what I do, but the Rona really sucks, man.
Canceled a lot of plans this summer and this entire year, to be honest.
But regardless of the Rona, the NFL trade deadline, it's a huge November 3rd. It's the biggest day in our country. It is. November 3rd, it doesn't get any bigger than that. That is the day that we get to finally find out if the Bengals are going to trade A.J. Green. Are the Bengals going to trade A.J. Green? And should they? That is the big question as far as that's concerned. So with that being said, ESPN's Ben Baby, who we've had on the show multiple times, he covers the Cincinnati Bengals for ESPN. He puts out an article today saying the Bengals wide receiver A.J. Green said that he is frustrated with his season, but he wants to remain in Cincinnati. I have no problem with that. And to be fair, A.J. Green has been very consistent with that. A.J. Green has been saying that even back when he was playing like a top 5 wide receiver in the National Football League. The problem is I don't think that top 5 wide receiver exists anymore. And that's not a shot at his character or him as a person. At the end of the day, that's where, this becomes, interesting, because A.J. Green is the perfect teammate. He's the perfect kind of guy you want on your roster. He's a good leader. He's a good guy that he gets along well with others. He's not a distraction in that locker room. We spend a lot of time talking about the Antonio Browns and the OBJs, and we talk a lot about those guys. That's not who AJ Green is, but AJ Green's production is just as good back when he was fully healthy. Mm-hmm. I don't know how healthy he is now. Of course, he got injured in this last week's game against the Ravens, but if he was healthy before that, if that's AJ Green healthy moving forward, I just don't see what he brings to the table. Kev, does he bring enough to the table to warrant keeping him? Because Green also goes on to say that I think that we are building something special here, and I just want to be a part of the team and help us win. The problem is if they win, I think that they are going to win games with or without him, and they won't win because of him. They aren't going to lose because of him. I just don't think he's the number one wide receiver anymore. Right. I don't know if the Bengals necessarily have one at this moment. I do love what I am seeing between the chemistry building between Joe Burrow and T. Higgins. I love T. Higgins. That was one of my favorite draft picks from the Bengals outside of Joe Burrow this past offseason. And I think T. Higgins and Burrow have good chemistry, but I think that T. Higgins complements Boyd really well. I think that we keep talking should the Bengals trade A.J. Green? Kevin, I don't think he has a market. He doesn't have value.
No, he doesn't have value anymore. Where when guys like a Le'Veon Bell don't have value, when guys like Antonio Brown don't have value, it's not just because Antonio Brown is quote unquote a bad guy off the field. It's because they're older as well, and they're the same age. And AJ Green has been hurt, and for the last 2 seasons, he hasn't produced when he was on the field. And now that he's back on the field, he's not producing at the clip that he once was. And that's just what happens with wide receivers as they get older. You know, when you're a cornerback, you can still play corner, but then you eventually move to safety. You know, Rod Woodson, when he played with the Steelers back in the day, he started playing safety once he moved to like the Baltimore Ravens and everything, and he shined. Same thing with Charles Woodson. When his speed and all this quickness started to deteriorate, he switched to safety, so he started using his mind more. Outside wide receiver, that's it. Like, that's all they can do is play outside wide receiver. He's not an inside slot receiver where he can work the underneath routes. His thing is the deep ball. That's what AJ Green does. He catches great sideline passes because he's 6'5" and super athletic. Does super athleticism through the roof, but those things aren't there anymore. Or at least they're not showing currently. You know, he is coming off of 2 seasons of being injured. Is it all rust? Is it all age? We don't know. But at this current moment, people are talking about trading AJ Green. You're not going to get anything for him.
Period. You're not like, and I'm seeing on Twitter, like a lot of these crazy trade scenarios that the Bengals can try and figure out for AJ Green. And you're right. I'm so glad that you just brought up Le'Veon Bell, because Le'Veon Bell's a prime example. Different position, but a guy that you thought that the second that the Jets made him available, you would think that because of his talent, teams would have been lining up to, you know, there's a lot of teams out there that can use an upgrade at that position. And especially with the fact that Le'Veon Bell is not just a running back. He adds an element to your game that he's going to really, you know, enhance your passing game as well. And no one lined up for him. The last I saw that he has it narrowed down between, I believe, the Chiefs, the Bills, and I forgot the third one. Do you remember the third one by any chance? If you know, either way, I know that the Chiefs and Bills were part of his final 3.
Right.
And the Bills make a lot of sense. I mean, imagine that with the way that we've seen Josh Allen take that step forward. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and Le'Veon Bell. That's huge. But the reason Le'Veon Bell did not have a huge trade value is because of that contract. And that is also why you will not see AJ Green get traded, at least for anything other than a bag of footballs, because it's not because teams don't buy in. Like, I promise you this much. If AJ Green, if the Bengals just outright released him, he's going to have a ton of calls.
Yes, sir.
Teams, even if they don't believe he has it at this moment, there are teams out there who feel that, man, if we can get him on a decent deal, we still believe he has enough left in the tank that another full off season, a full off season, you know, get him fully rehabilitated, then he'll be okay. Teams will line up to get him. But again, there's a difference between, man, should we trade him and get something for him, and can we trade him and get something for him? Because the answer to that's easy. No, you can't get anything for him. He's paid a lot of money on that option this year. So, you know, unless the Bengals just choose to eat it to get something in return, then maybe that's a decision that they will have to make. David, thank you. The Dolphins, that's right. I mean, imagine it with Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell going to it. I mean, this is why you need to figure out if you have Tua Tagovailoa or not. Is he the real deal? You know, but either way, if I'm Le'Veon Bell, I don't want to go to the Dolphins. You don't know what you got there yet. The Bills, I'd feel if I'm Le'Veon Bell, I'd love to jump on the Bills. But of course, the reigning defending Super Bowl champs, I kind of like Le'Veon Bell playing with Patrick Mahomes and company as well. So who knows how that is going to work.
Where would you go
if Le'Veon Bell? Chiefs. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who was the running back for Kansas City that they were Williams, and he opted out because of, you know, the coronavirus. Le'Veon Bell, if you just need him for 1 year, if you're the Chiefs, I would pull the trigger on this in a heartbeat. They never intended, when they drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire, it was to use in a split back formation anyways. They were going to have split carries. That's what they wanted to do. Le'Veon Bell, not only does he, you know, help you out as far as that goes, he also adds, I mean, imagine him and Patrick Mahomes hooking up. I mean, that's cool. That would be something unique and something special.
Not cool if you're in the AFC.
Yeah. I mean, but you know what? That's on the Steelers. The Steelers haven't even reached out. They said one article I read today that said a lot of teams, a good chunk of teams in the AFC reached out to him. Most notably on the list of not reaching out, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Told you they wasn't going to do it, dog.
So Bengals fans, we'll get into this more later on. I'm just curious as far as that's concerned, like your thoughts on AJ Green and what the Bengals should do. I know AJ Green says he wants to be a part of the team, but at the end of the day, I don't know if he brings enough to the table right now for the Bengals to warrant keeping him. But maybe that is why you do keep him. Trading him gets you nothing. Keeping him, I don't think it hurts you. It gives you more time to figure out if he has anything left. I guess there's that angle. I don't trade him. Now that I think about it, as we're talking through this, I like this. If I'm the Bengals, actually, Kev, I don't trade him because he has no value.
Right.
And you risk trading him for nothing and then him going and all of a sudden just having it wherever he goes. Or you can give him and yourself another 8 games, another 10 games to figure out if he still has it. And I think that is more valuable to the Bengals than trading him, because you're not going to get anything of substance in return. I keep him. I keep AJ Green no matter what.
So for me, it's you're going to get maybe a 6th, 7th round pick for AJ. Are you going to be able to, do you trust the Cincinnati Bengals enough to find that diamond in the rough? Do you trust the Cincinnati Bengals to find Antonio Brown in the 7th round like the Pittsburgh Steelers did?
No.
That's the thing. So you're right. Play it out. Maybe he rekindles his old form and be like, you know what? He is in our future plans. Maybe not the long-term deal that he wants, but a shorter-term deal where we can help develop our young quarterback some more with a really good receiver like AJ Green. Yes. But yeah, I wouldn't give him up for a 7th round pick right now. I would roll the dice to see how it rolls. But we all know what's going to happen. AJ Green is going to find his way to New England Patriots and turn back into AJ Green. Just like Randy Moss turned back into Randy Moss when he got there. It's going to happen.
That's how the cookie crumbles.
And everybody in Cincinnati is going to be mad and kicking themselves. Like, he wasn't doing that for us.
All right, folks, hour number 1 in the books. Good stuff there. We'll give you our NFL picks using the NFL Pro Football Pick'em Challenge at wingam.com, presented by Frickers. We get to that coming up in hour number 2. We'll also get back into this Bengals AJ Green conversation. Also, the Cleveland Browns have a huge matchup with the Pittsburgh Steelers this coming up weekend. Will they win or will they lose? Well, the Browns had a big loss today, potentially. That could impact their matchup with the Steelers coming up on Sunday. We'll get to that in hour number 2. Don't go anywhere. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash when we come back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Ohio, wake up to what our lawmakers are up to. Bribery indictment of the former House Speaker, the majority cutting funds for schools and healthcare during the pandemic, huge tax breaks for millionaires while ignoring medical experts, and how COVID-19 impacts our jobs, health, schools, and local businesses. It's time for a change. I will fight for hardworking families. My name is Erin Rosiello, candidate for State House District 62 in Warren County, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Erin Rosiello, at your service.
It's time for Straight Talk, just like football. You want the best coverage with your wireless network without your wallet taking a hit? Straight Talk Wireless gives you the same nationwide coverage as the big carriers, America's best networks, for up to 50% less. Just $45 a month for 25 gigs of high-speed data than 2G with an unlimited plan. No contract, no mystery fees. Don't get sidelined by weak protection. Get Straight Talk Wireless. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Yeah, this season I actually had little business cards made. Eric Rubino, Fantasy Baseball GM. You can keep that. Sure, the players are famous, but come game day, I decide their fate. What's that? Oh, you make $20 million? Well, I don't like your attitude. You benched! No, I'd never bench an all-star, but I could. That's also why I like Progressive's Name Your Price tool. With options based on my budget, they never throw me a curveball. That's a little baseball reference for you.
Get options based on your budget with Progressive, even if you're not a legend in your own mind. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Fall is all about feel-good food and family. This fall, get a home-style meal on the go that everyone will love. Stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken for a 12-piece spicy bonus box for only $23.99. Homestyle can happen anywhere with 12 mixed pieces of Lee's Spicy Classic Chicken, a large mashed potatoes and gravy, and a large coleslaw, all at a great price. Get a homestyle meal made easy with our 12-piece spicy bonus box for only $23.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Allstate now has deeper savings, and deeper savings require deep thoughts and a deep voice, like mine. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise, and save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. As someone once said, saving today is money tomorrow. That's deep.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
T-Mobile for Business knows saving time and money is important for your business. That's why we're introducing Microsoft 365 on us, now included in our best business plans. With Office apps, Microsoft Teams, cloud storage, and more, Microsoft 365 on us gives you the tools you need to run your business. Stop by a T-Mobile store today. Qualifying plan required. Contactless to activate. 1 license per line, max 2 per account. Third-party terms apply. See T-Mobile.com for plan details.
Cleveland State women's basketball coach Chris Kilsmeyer, COVID survivor.
I was fatigued, just like every other basketball coach in March, but didn't think about getting sick. I woke up one night with the worst pains and chills I'd ever experienced. I tested positive for coronavirus and immediately self-quarantined. I got worse and worse and checked into the hospital. Multiple times I said, I don't want to die. We know what works. We know how to fight this, but it's going to take all of us doing the right thing every single day.
Sponsored by the Ohio Hospital Association.
Dell just announced their Labor Day sale. Save up to 50% on powerful business computers with Intel Core processors that'll keep you ahead of the competition. Call 877-ASK-DELL.
Follow ESPN 1410 Wing AM on Facebook to watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Listen, stream, and now watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio. 1410 WING AM.
Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween.
We are Dayton's ESPN radio station. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, this Monday, Buckeye fans, make sure you head to Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Inglewood for the Keith Byers Show. Keith Byers taking his show live out on the road. He'll be hosting his show live on Monday from noon to 1 from the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Inglewood, kicking off the week to the week of the kickoff. Ohio State, Nebraska kicking off a week from Saturday, and Keith wanted to kick the week off in style. He wants to take the show out on the road. He's going to be out in Inglewood at the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken there, hosting his show, doing his show live out on location. So make sure you make your lunch plans accordingly. Head to Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken on Monday for your lunch break, and spend your lunch break with the College Football Hall of Famer as he and you get set for Ohio State, Nebraska. He'll be setting the tone for kickoff week next Monday, kicking off at Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Inglewood once again. All right, Justin Kinner, Kev Nash back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Listen, stream, and watch. Listen at 1410 Wing AM, stream at wingam.com, and now watch the show live on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook, and you can watch and follow along with everything that we do right there. Earlier in the week, we were able to catch up with ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz. We were able to talk about and recap all the exciting games and action from Week 5, as well as preview some of the top matchups coming up here in Week 6. So we'll talk about some college football stuff, news and notes, and others coming up around the corner. But here's Jason Fitz. Let's dive right into this. This is a conversation we had to open up the show today, Jason. Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, based on what you've seen 5 games in, if you could redraft right now and you could only take one of those, who is the quarterback that you're taking between those two? And just for gigs, we could throw Tua in there as well. But Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, who are you taking between one of those two right now with what you've seen 5 games in?
Joe Burrow. I'm still taking Joe Burrow. And I'll tell you why. I know that's not a popular take, but this is what we always do with every single quarterback that comes into the league. We become infatuated with very small body of evidence, right? So you get a couple of games in and you say, oh, my God, we've got our guy. And everybody knows I'm a Raiders fan, right? At the end of the 2016 season, Raiders fans were convinced Derek Carr was going to be the next Aaron Rodgers, because as we see good from a quarterback, we decided that good is everything. And then, look at Baker. Baker Mayfield was the second coming for year 1. Year 2, he was suddenly trash. And now year 3, he's somewhere in the middle of it. That's why I keep telling everybody it takes so much time. But the one thing I'll say is that what matches any tendencies you see that match what they did in college matter to me. So I'm going to go back to who Justin Herbert was in college. And he was a good dynamic playmaker that was able to extend plays and make fun plays with his arm. That's spectacular. But if you look at the metrics in college, when he got blitzed, it wasn't always pretty. If you look at the metrics so far in the pros, for whatever reason, people have been afraid to blitz him. But so far, when he faces a blitz, he has the second lowest completion percentage in the NFL. So while I understand that Herbert has made some big plays and it's been fun to watch, I got to wait and see a quarterback evolve against what defensive coordinators are going to throw at him. And I'm still going to look at Joe Burrow and say, hey, I've seen so much good from him in college that plays into part of how I see him in the pros.
You know, we saw that horrible injury with Dak on Sunday, and the whole rhetoric all week has been, it's Jerry Jones' fault. Is it anybody's fault, or is this just football?
No, it's just football. Like, sometimes bad things happen to good people, and that's the one thing, for all the conversation about money. And I can't imagine, just a second, give me 1 second on the soapbox. I can't imagine if somebody that I loved was going through this horrific injury and the first conversation was never about their well-being. It was instead about their money. I just think that's one of the worst things about the way we are as sports fans. So having said that, I think the most incredible moment was to see the way the players and coaches and everybody went to Dak's side, which tells you how beloved he is. I mean, you don't do that for every single player. Not every player gets that level of love. So that's a huge statement to Dak. The other side of it is, though, business is business. Dak rolled the dice. The Cowboys rolled the dice. And frankly, everybody keeps talking about Dak like he rolled the dice wrong. I'm not buying it, because all indications are he's going to make a full recovery. And when he does, I still think somebody's going to pay him mega money. And if it's not the Cowboys, I still think somebody's going to pay him mega money, and they'll trade draft picks to get him because they know who Dak can be. And you got the choice between the known entity of Dak or rolling the dice in the draft. You're taking Dak, I believe. So, the Cowboys are the ones that I think are really, they put themselves up a creek, because Andy Dalton is just good enough to win some football games, and that's just good enough to get them into a spot where they're not going to be able to draft the quarterback that they would need to replace Dak. So, I think the Cowboys are pinned in, but I don't think it's anyone's fault. It's just sometimes football stinks.
I'm a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so I was very upset to see Le'Veon Bell sit out the season, then sign with the Jets. And now the word is they're trying to shop Le'Veon Bell. What possibly could the Jets get for Le'Veon?
Nothing. I mean, there's just no market for him, right? Like, why would you trade for that huge? I mean, that's a lot of money for Le'Veon, and we've seen so little from him. But the other side of this is, why are they letting Adam Gase do anything that has long-term ramifications? If I'm the Jets and I'm going to let you at least stay in the building, you ain't going to get to make any important phone calls. It's like, no, you're not grounded. You're not fired completely, but you've lost all phone privileges. Like, that's step number one. I'm not letting anybody in that building make any big decisions until I know who's actually going to be running the team and coaching the team next year, because I don't believe any of them are safe.
What do you think? And you talk about who you don't think anyone's safe. What about Sam Darnold? I remember when the talk of the Bengals having the number 1 overall pick, the big conversation was, good quarterbacks coming out of college that go to bad organizations, and how good quarterbacks coming out could be ruined. That was a big topic around here, talking about Joe Burrow going to Cincinnati, months and months ago before the draft. But, then you see a situation like Sam Darnold and the Jets. I don't know who Sam Darnold is, and I don't think that's his fault. I don't know if the narrative fits here that it's the Jets' fault. I mean, what's the future of Sam Darnold? Is he a Jet next year? And if not, what do you think the market could be for a Sam Darnold?
I really think that, I get that people want them to go after Trevor Lawrence. If I'm the Jets and I end up being the worst team in football, I know that Trevor Lawrence has the opportunity to be special, and most people will disagree with me on this. I'm trading that pick for the mother of all bounties that I could possibly get, because, look, I don't love Sam Darnold. I didn't love Sam Darnold coming out of college. I think he's sort of who he was at USC. He's a super talented guy that will make a ton of great plays, and then every once in a while he'll throw a boneheaded pick to somebody that he's much better than, and that's what he did in college, and that's sort of who he is with the Jets. So I was hopeful that the Jets would be able to fix some of those tendencies for him. That hasn't happened. So, but if you're the Jets, I mean, I genuinely believe, I don't care who they put. I don't care if they put Patrick Mahomes behind that Jets offensive line. They don't have other weapons. They don't have a good line. They don't have a team that's really worth playing on. They need an all-new roster, and that's not a popular take for a lot of people in New York. But those are the moments you got to look at it and say, hey, maybe what you need is to tear the whole thing down to the studs and rebuild. And I believe that's what the Giants and the Jets are going to be looking at this offseason. And I don't think one player will accomplish enough of that. So I'm looking at the bevy of picks. I think Darnold's still going to get a chance. If he hits the open market, somebody will give up a third rounder for him at least, if not more.
Kenner and I have this debate all the time about if you're the number 1 guy like a Trevor Lawrence and the Jets or the Lions have the number 1 pick and they have their eyes set on you. And I'm a proponent of, I'll go back to school. I'll sit out. I'll pull a John Elway. I'll pull a Eli Manning. He sits on the other side of the fence with that, saying, it's an honor to be picked in the draft. Go play. If you're good enough, you can make it happen. I'm just a person that believes that, man, these teams have been terrible for so long, and they'll ruin you. Now, we don't know if Sam Darnold would have been good if he went to another team, but we do know he's bad with the Jets. And we do know that the Lions have had two of the best position players of all time in Calvin Johnson and in a Barry Sanders, and they did absolutely nothing with him. Where do you come down on the Trevor Lawrence, if he's going to go to the Jets or Lions, him deciding to go back to school thing?
The only problem, and look, I hear what you're saying, and I agree with a lot of what you're saying. The only problem, there's two things. One, I believe that there's a bit of a God complex to a lot of these guys that are coming out at the top of the draft that believe that they can fix anything. But two, and this is big, I mean, money's money, right? Like, if you're Trevor Lawrence, you can take that insurance policy out all day that people talk about, but they rarely tell you how difficult they are to actually cash in and, how much less it is. Like, if you're Trevor Lawrence, the day you sign, you're going to be getting TV money, you're going to be getting advertising money, and you're going to get a disgusting amount of money from a team to go play for a bad organization. So, it only takes one, God forbid, Dak Prescott-like moment, and everything changes for Trevor Lawrence. So if I'm Trevor, I go out and I just do the best I can with what I got. And I go into, if you're going into New York especially, I mean, you talk about just, you're going to be in New York. Like the marketing opportunities for, a likable young man like him, I think would be through the roof. So as much as those franchises are absolutely at times a dumpster fire, I don't see how you can justify not taking the cash.
ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz with us here. Last thing, and we'll let you go, but you got the Steelers, you got the Browns coming up this weekend, a big matchup. Again, both teams really trying to prove a lot. Like we don't really know who the Steelers are. We trust them because they have a veteran coach, respected organization. You have Big Ben back this year. They haven't played anyone that really, that they've beat that you could say, that for sure that Pittsburgh is back. Then you look at Cleveland, they're 4-1, they're rolling. Right now they're at an all-time high. This is a big game for both franchises this weekend. Who comes away? Is Pittsburgh a 3.5-point favorite as we sit right now?
I find myself believing in the Steelers because I still think about last year and how bad their quarterback situation was and how good that team still was. So I'm applying a little bit of that forward this year. But this is what I will say about the Browns. I think everybody last year was too high on the Browns, and everybody this year is too low on the Browns. And, that to me is sort of what happens when a bunch of national media people make some big statements about a team, and then they get bit, by it. So they come in the next year a little more cautious. The only question last year about the Browns was their coaching, and they've answered this year what it looks like when you have a competent coach there. And I think what the Browns are doing offensively is absolutely incredible. And, I always love to throw out these stats, but their run block win rate is the second highest in the NFL. Like the Browns are doing things, rushing the football, that's making it easy for them to throw the football, which is alarming because they have a lot of talented people to throw the football too. So I have a hard time seeing, sort of how anybody's going to slow down the Browns right now. I think they're very good, but man, I believe that the Steelers are going to come out with a bit of a statement here. But ultimately, I think the Steelers win this game. I think the Steelers and Browns are both playoff teams, though.
Congratulations to your Raiders, by the way. I will ask you this without taking anything away from your Raiders win. Kansas City has looked a little questionable the last couple of weeks. Is there some? I mean, again, I didn't expect them to go undefeated. I don't think that, it's very difficult to go undefeated. For one, just your Raiders looked really good. But two, is there something going on with Kansas City that they just haven't looked as explosive the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, there is. And I'll actually credit Belichick, as we always do for everything, but it's warranted here. I think Bill put a little bit of something on tape. And again, I'll go back to these crazy stats, but this one really interested me on the Raiders-Chiefs game. In the second half, or in the game itself, the Raiders got 29 quarterback pressures. People keep talking about that. But the real significant stat is that their offensive line had a 65% pass rush win rate, which is actually better than normal. So it means that they actually kept the Raiders front four under sort of check. So in check. So how did they get so many quarterback pressures? Well, Mahomes held the ball in that game longer than he has in any game in his entire career. And that's what Belichick showed everybody is, hey, you can vary up your coverages and confuse Mahomes. And that's what the Raiders did in the second half. That's what shut him down. They took a page out of Belichick's book. And I think now what we're going to see is a lot of zone blitz and a lot of, hey, how can we drop different people into coverage? Because if you make Mahomes hesitate for just a second, that can be enough to help you at least disrupt the timing of the plays. So he's still going to do otherworldly things, but I do think that there's been a blueprint on how to at least slow him down a little bit, which is scary for the Chiefs.
Spain and Fitz, weeknights from 7 to 9 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. You can catch Sarah Spain and Jason Fitz, who's awesome enough to join us every Tuesday from now and through the end of December. Jason, thank you so much. Give Jason a follow on Twitter at Jason Fitz, Fitz. Jason, thank you. Take care. We'll talk in a week.
You guys are the best. Thank you so much.
Peace.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with showers, a high near 54. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a frost advisory in place, a low around 35. And tomorrow will be mainly clear with a high near 56. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
The Advantage program from Stevenson Service Experts takes the stress out of maintaining your home comfort system. Pay no money down, one low monthly rate, and nothing for maintenance and repairs. The Advantage program from Stevenson Service Experts. Learn more at 866-EXPERT or StevensonHVAC.com. See website for license details.
Got a project to do? Use the right equipment and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. With over 50 years experience, Arts has the best selection, delivery, and service, plus 14 Arts locations. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
My community means everything to me. That's why I joined the Army National Guard. I'm proud of where I'm from, and as a soldier, I get to give back to the people that help me succeed. The training and leadership skills I get from the Army National Guard help me every day when I teach young people and look out for my community. If you'd like to learn how you too can serve part-time with the community you love, visit nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard, aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Election Day is November 3rd. If you plan to vote by mail, plan ahead at USPS.com/votinginfo. There, you will find helpful resources, such as guidance for successfully using the mail, links to find your state's rules and deadlines, information for military and overseas voters, and more. The U.S. Postal Service is ready to deliver for you. Make sure you're ready too. Start today at USPS.com/votinginfo.
Ready to take on that painting project? Ask Sherwin-Williams and get 40% off paints and stains with sale prices starting at $23.09 October 16th through 19th. With 40% off our exceptional paints and stains, you can give some color love to your bathroom, living room, or every room in your home. Shop in store or order online for curbside pickup. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
You have empty office space to fill. You know what you need, and you know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places that what you need and what you'd like, that might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half price and below manufacturer suggested prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really. Desks from $50 to $5,000. File cabinets, $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Outlet. With 87,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. 2 locations. One at 23 McOil Street, Dayton. The other, Uniques Unlimited on South Dixie. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6. Saturday, 10 to 4.
An aging parent with dementia. A mother whose adult son is addicted to drugs. Probate judges help families facing tough decisions. That's why attorney David Brannon is the right choice for Montgomery County probate judge. Over the past 15 years, Brannon has worked to protect those in need and to get the right answers for families in probate court. And David Brannon is the only candidate certified as a probate expert. David Brannon for probate judge.
I am David Brannon, and I approve this message.
Oktoberfest and football are at Milano's. Bavarian pretzels, German beers, schnitzel, and more. Come in and watch the game or get it to go. All carry-out beers are 25% off every day at Milano's Pizza, Subs, and Taps.
Hi, Joey Beckett here at Buckeye Ford in Sydney, home of the Works Package and the Double Take Tire Specials. Call today for your appointment, 937-419-8473 or 1-800-700-0050. Buckeye Ford in Sydney, exit 92 off of I-75. We'll see you soon.
Give your sweetie the priceless gold box this year for Sweetest Day, or get a special pack box of those favorite pieces. Don't wait until the last minute. Sweetest Day is October 17th, so come and visit us. Shop online at EstherPrice.com or contact any of the Esther Price Candy's 7 locations to place a curbside order for pickup. It only takes a minute to make that special someone smile when they see their gold box of their favorites. So don't forget and place your order today.
Contractors, use the right equipment for your project and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. No storage, no maintenance, no hassle. 14 Arts locations and online at artsrental.com. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
Other banks charge fees on savings and checking accounts. Doesn't sound good, does it? Capital One reimagined banking. So it sounds more like this. With Capital One, you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes. Get started now at a Capital One location or online. Sound good to you? This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Approval required. Offered by Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Before your next flooring job, make Lowe's your first stop. See the latest styles in our new flooring showroom. We carry more tile, more vinyl, more laminate and hardwood than ever before. Whatever you need, we have the job lot quantities you expect at bulk pricing to save you money. Shop in store or online at lowesforpros.com. Need materials delivered to your job site? No problem. Our pro team can help you get the job done right and on time. It's just one more reason why Lowe's is the new home for pros. U.S. only.
Audible now gives you thousands of audiobooks, podcasts, originals, and more, all in one place. The new Audible is your playlist for life. Download the Audible app to get started.
Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays at 3 p.m. on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
So you want to talk about outliers? Those guys are outliers. You're lucky that this thing's separating us. That's all I got to say. For facts, though. I got your facts right here.
Listen, stream, and now watch. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook to follow along.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely. Like, good evening, officer. A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, I'm a catch, more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER. And ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Back to the famous WING studios. Here's Justin Kinner and Kev Nash.
All right, and we are back. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Head to Facebook, search the Justin Kinner Show, like and follow along. And when you are tuning in and you are watching the show, hit the share button at the bottom. When you hit that share button, you will be automatically enrolled into winning $25 in Frickers Fun Bucks, which I have right here in my hand. And if you're watching on Facebook, you can see me holding them up. They're real. I mean, well, it's not real. I mean, they're real. you can get Frickers with these. $25 in Frickers bucks. So head to Facebook, search the Justin Kinner Show, like the page, and then when you are watching today's show, you'll see that it's live. Hit the share button at the bottom and share that out. We want to get this show out there. We want to push this show out, and we need your help. So when you do that, you become automatically enrolled to win $25 in Frickers bucks. So help us out. Help us help you. How about that? All right, so big news today. We've talked a lot about the build-up to the Browns and the Steelers coming up this weekend. The last I checked, the Pittsburgh Steelers were a 3.5-point favorite. That line shifted to a 3-point favorite. So, again, the Browns made up a half a point. They made up a half a point, Kev, while the news came out today that OBJ was sent home. He was not feeling well. They are not saying that it's COVID. They are just saying that as of right now, that is not related to this. It's just he was not feeling well, and it's a precautionary thing that if you aren't even showing any kind of sick symptoms, whether it's COVID related or not, they are being cautious in sending him home. I think they have until tomorrow to figure out what they're going to do as far as that's concerned. But so far, no need to be concerned as far as that goes. He still, as of right now, is going to play Sunday. I know earlier in the week, Baker was experiencing some rib trouble. He sat out of a practice already, but in his meeting with his meeting with the media, stated that it's going to take a lot to keep him out of that game on Sunday. He said his mom didn't raise no wuss. So whatever that means. So there you go. I don't think that OBJ plays and the Browns are definitely going to win, but I think if he doesn't play, it's already going to make what is going to be a difficult game to win for the Browns already. It's going to make it that much more difficult. OBJ helps this team at times without even actually putting his hands on a ball, right? Just by the way that the defense gears towards him and the attention that the defense gives him. So to me, it's just one of those things where him not being on the field, regardless of what his stat line is at the end of the game, it's still a big blow to the Cleveland Browns. So they need him out there. They desperately need OBJ this weekend. And, you look at it, Cleveland's the number one scoring team in the AFC. As crazy as that sounds, they score more points a game than the Chiefs, more points a game than the Steelers, more points per game than the Patriots. They are the number one scoring team in the AFC. They are going to need every weapon ready to go if they want a chance to beat Pittsburgh coming up on Sunday.
OBJ is a huge part of that team, not only receiving the ball, but like you said, he's a decoy a lot of the times as well. When they send him around in motion on that fake go sweep, eyes go to him because of that 50-yard run he has against the Cowboys. You got to stay aware of where he is all the time. So if he's not able to play, that's definitely a blow for the Browns. But I will say this, man, like we talked about this over the summer. We always were questioning are we going to start just look at guys that come down with COVID and miss a game? It's just like, oh, man, he had a hamstring pull. Oh, well, type of situation. Or are we still going to keep it serious? So, that's why I worry about guys coming down with COVID or the actual flu or cold and everything like that. They have to take it very serious because they don't want a wide team spread out of this whole COVID and everything like that. So they're doing the right things. They're doing the things that's necessary to make sure that everybody else on the team is safe and him to see if he can play, and I want him to play too, because, you don't want teams to have an excuse. You don't want to hear the Browns fans on Monday saying, oh, if OBJ would have played, we'd have won. You don't want to hear that as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. You want them at their best. And more importantly, man, I'm a fan of football. I want to see them just for pure entertainment purposes. You know what I'm saying? It's entertainment. So I'm here for it. I hope he's there to play. And I guarantee it's going to be a great game. That's something I can guarantee. It's going to be one. It's going to be a great game. I can't wait.
All right, 457-9464. This is a tweet that came out yesterday from Mary Kay Cabbage, and I found this interesting. Cam Hayward, that the Steelers plan to inflict good punishment on Browns Baker Mayfield and make him think about his rib injury during the game.
Yes, you should.
Take your helmet off, Baker. Swing it at him. That's how you keep him away.
Get out of here, man. So hold on. You play competitive high school basketball and college basketball.
You're being friendly with the college basketball thing, but sure, I'll give it to you. It makes me sound cooler.
So when
ball, baby, why ball?
So when a guy had a little wrap on his hand or his wrist, you didn't test it, didn't give it a little nudge, a little thump action, a little you boxing out on a rebound, a little squeeze when you pulling up for a jumper, tap that wrist. You never did that?
It's hard to do that from the bench.
Oh. Okay, well, you didn't play like I played.
And if I did, and by the way, let's be clear, you don't go out and say, "Oh man, if they are showing showing any kind of weakness at their sores, I'm going to go for his wrist. I'm going to go for his ankle. I'm going to go for his knee. I'm going to go for his ribs." All I'm saying is if the Browns came out and said this about the Steelers, we'd be ripping the Browns. We'd be saying, "Oh, here we go. They're opening their mouth. Blah blah blah." Blah, 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 blah.
Come on, man. This is football, man.
I know it's football. You don't need to remind me that it's football. If I know damn well that it's football, all I'm saying is I like to point out the hypocrisy.
This is not hypocrisy.
This is why I hate the Steelers right here.
This is not hypocrisy. Right here. This is the game.
And they wonder why they get helmets swung at them because they talk too much.
But Cam Hayward's a Buckeye.
I don't care. Once a Buckeye, always a Buckeye. Unless you're Tate Martell. Just like to remind people that. But yeah, Cam Hayward says that, look, they are going to inflict good punishment. Great word usage, by the way. Good, I like it. I like it. But when the Browns say anything cocky like this, they have to shut up. They're told to shut up. Now I get it. It's the Steelers.
No one said anything when Kareem Hunt said this is for Myles Garrett.
Yeah, they did. They had to come out yesterday, make a statement saying that this game's not about that because right away the media was jumping on that and running away with it, saying, "Oh, here we go. We're making it about that again. The all eyes are going to have to be on that," which, by the way, all eyes will be on that situation. But there's not a situation. Mason Rudolph's not the quarterback. He's not going to be out on the field. All right, let's hope. Where is he on their depth chart? Is he the next guy up?
Yeah, he's back up still.
Who's the third string guy?
Duck.
Still, the Duck was released.
No, they brought him. Well, no, the Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs got released from Jacksonville. They brought him back and put Duck on the practice squad for some strange reason.
Duck
should be the backup.
So either way, at this point, I can't wait. This is such a fun matchup this weekend because this isn't like we talked about yesterday. This is the highest win percentage between a Browns team and an opponent this far into the season since they returned to Cleveland. You know what I mean? That's insane to me. That's how irrelevant and how bad Cleveland has been for so long. And this is a huge game, as we talked about yesterday. However you want to word it, biggest game to this point, biggest game of the season, whatever. It doesn't matter. To me, there's a lot of big games coming up this weekend, but I don't think any game is bigger than what this one is, just because of how competitive this AFC North division is going to be. If you're Pittsburgh, your schedule's a little difficult moving forward. Mm-hmm. Losing to Cleveland is a bad thing because, for one, it's Cleveland, but two, you don't want to, fall far behind in that division. Losing to Cleveland doesn't mean you'll fall far in that division, but Cleveland has 5 winnable games in a row. All right, they can go 4-1 after this game with the Steelers. They can go 5-0 after this game with the Steelers. There's a lot of wins on deck for the Browns if they stay healthy, barring any kind of COVID outbreak or any other kind of injury, outbreak as far as that's concerned. So if you are Pittsburgh, this game is bigger than just, we just got to get a win because they're the next opponent up on our schedule. Cleveland's in your division. They have 5 winnable games coming up. Cleveland's already 4-1, and they're not the typical Browns team that we're accustomed to seeing the last couple of years. So if you are Pittsburgh, this game is big. Now, I talked earlier. It was a 3.5-point line. It shifted to a 3-point line. Now it's back at a 3.5-point line. So there you go. Whatever that means, I like to pay attention to that because there's always some things swaying in there that are leading to the movement of that line as far as that's concerned. But again, we talked about the difficulty in the schedule coming up. I mean, it's not really difficulty. It's just there's an opportunity coming up, like I said, where you have the Steelers who are 4-0, the Browns who are 4-1. After the Browns, you have to go on the road at Tennessee and on the road at Baltimore and on the road at Dallas. Now, Dallas is bad, but you're still playing on the road, 3 straight games on the road. And if you are 0-2 against the Titans and the Ravens, now you're vulnerable against a bad team like the Cowboys because now you're not as confident.
Right.
So this game is huge for the Steelers because if the Browns win, the Steelers have to go on the road at the Titans. The Steelers have to go on the road at the Ravens. They have to go on the road at the Cowboys. You know what happens after Cleveland plays the Steelers? Let's just say that they win and they're 5-1.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to the Bengals. They're going to be 6-1. And the Raiders, they could be 7-1. The Texans, 8-1. The Eagles, they could be 9-1. The Jaguars, they could be 10-1. They could be 10-1. And if the Pittsburgh Steelers slip up against the Ravens and against the Titans, now you are behind the Cleveland Browns in the AFC North by 2 games. By the end of November. I'm not stirring the pot here. I'm not doing it. I mean, I'm not guaranteeing that Cleveland wins all those games. But those are winnable games. And those are games that Cleveland will be favored in. The NFC East is garbage, and the Texans have been garbage. The Raiders, that's going to be probably a gimme game right there because you don't know which Raiders team's going to show up on any given week. Who knows how that game's going to go? Bottom line is that crazy enough, the Browns by the end of November can be 10-1, 9-2. All right, they can be 8-3. But the bottom line is Pittsburgh, this is a huge game this weekend because their schedule is more difficult for the next month, and you don't want the Browns to separate themselves from you. That's embarrassing if you're a Steelers fan. That's embarrassing if you're the Steelers. But you know what I mean? Like, you're already worried and paying attention to Baltimore. And I think all the eyes are on Baltimore. And Cleveland is quietly going to be making some noise in this division if they are able to get a win against Pittsburgh, which I think they're capable of doing. But, man, this would springboard Cleveland into that magical season that I was predicting from the beginning. I predicted 12-4. You thought I was crazy. But I'm looking at this. And I'm like, I think I was kind of crazy too. But I'm like, I don't think I'm so crazy anymore. Like, 12 wins is very doable if you're the Cleveland Browns.
Road to 12-4. Yeah, I mean, all the teams that Pittsburgh has beat early in the season, it's the Browns' turn to play them because they're playing the NFC least, as you like to call them. So it's their turn to play them and possibly rack up some wins. But, you just play the games that's on the schedule. People talk about the opponents that the Steelers have played. They only won 3 games total. Well, they're on the schedule. That's what you got to play because guess what? If they'd have lost to them, then there would be trouble. Then there would be problems. So you can only play who's on the schedule, beat who you're supposed to beat, and let the cards fall where they may. I sound like a coach. I sound like Mike Tomlin. It's getting hot in the kitchen. It's the AFC North.
What was that supposed to mean? Hot in the kitchen. What's that supposed to mean?
Use whatever cliche you want to use because I sense it ratcheting it up over there on this other side of the glass. I sense it ratcheting it up. You're trying to you're ratcheting it up. You're turning up the heat in here. It's cool, I putting the pressure on my Steelers. Trust me, ain't no pressure, man.
The pressure is on your Steelers. There's more pressure on Pittsburgh than Cleveland this weekend, in my opinion.
Break it down.
If the Steelers win, it's because they're supposed to. If Cleveland wins, let's be clear here. Because you can, people respect the roster of Cleveland. You take the Browns' name away from them. That's a respectable roster. But no matter what happens, when you lose to the Cleveland Browns, it's embarrassing. And that's Cleveland's fault for being such a big loser for so long. That even when they have a good roster and beat teams, I still have heard it all week. Man, how bad do things get in Dallas when you lost to Cleveland? Cleveland's good this year. What are you talking about? How bad do you have to be to lose to Cleveland? Cleveland is good this year, okay? I'm not saying they're great, but they are good. It is not embarrassing anymore to lose to the Cleveland Browns, at least to that roster, but it is still embarrassing. The perception has not changed. They are still the Browns. They have a whole lot of losing history, recent history, that is weighing on the perception of who they are. So even when they play good, even when they win games, even when they sit here a month and a half into the season at 4-1 and atop the division with the rest of them, we're still not putting respect on their name. So when Pittsburgh wins on Sunday, it's going to be, Cleveland, there's the same old Cleveland. They lost to Pittsburgh. What else is new? But when Cleveland beats Pittsburgh, then it's a different story.
Does the score of the game count? Does it matter if the Browns were to lose? Does it matter how they lose? If they lose by a field goal, or if they get blown out like they did in Week 1 versus the Ravens?
Yes, here's why.
Is a loss, or is it actually like a moral victory?
It won't be a moral victory because we're past that. We gave Baker the moral victories his rookie season, and we were willing to try to do it early into last year because they had a new coach in Freddie Kitchens. Kevin Stefanski's not getting that honeymoon treatment of giving him the benefit of the doubt if he makes any kind of decision. So if they lose a close one, it's Baker's fault. If they lose a blowout, and if they lose in a blowout, it's because, Baker's just not that good anyways. I think, if Pittsburgh blows Cleveland out, a loss is a loss is my point, I guess. Mm-hmm. A loss is a loss. Baker could throw for 300 yards. He's going to throw an interception against Pittsburgh. He's going to throw an interception. 2 at the most. He's going to throw an interception. So that's going to be weighing against him from the very get-go. So I think there's more pressure on Pittsburgh in this game than Cleveland.
Sound like a lot of pressure on QB6.
No, because Baker's Baker. That's what he does. Have you seen this? Not he's hiding. He's playing horribly in the second half. I was listening to some sports talk today, and they were breaking down his numbers in the second half and just how garbage he is. He has been straight up garbage in the second half. He is even more. He's garbage square in the fourth quarter. He's not good. He has been absolutely atrocious in the second half. But the reason that I said this earlier in the week that it's a silver lining is because Cleveland, they needed perfect games out of Baker a year ago to win. Like if he didn't have as close to a perfect game as possible, they didn't win a game. They needed him to be perfect. This year, they are proving that they are more than quarterback reliant and that they're winning games even when their quarterback's not playing well. So that is something to keep in mind as far as that is concerned. I'm excited about this game this week. All I'm saying is you have to admit, I know you're saying the right things, how good Cleveland is. Cleveland's a respectable ride. It's embarrassing to lose to Cleveland. It is. I don't care what anybody says, and I'm a Browns fan. The reason I know it's embarrassing to lose to the Browns is because Browns fans are even uncomfortable when they win. When the Browns win, Browns fans are uncomfortable like, we won.
Those are y'all insecurities. Those are y'all insecurities.
But those insecurities that exist for the Browns fans exist for the perception of the franchise outside, too. No one likes losing. The best thing that could have happened to the Steelers last year, the best thing that ever happened to that franchise was the fact that the narrative after the Browns beat the Steelers was that Mason Rudolph got his head beat in with the helmet. Because if that didn't happen, that would have been embarrassing last year losing to Cleveland. It wasn't embarrassing losing to Cleveland last year because, oh, man, Cleveland, look at that dysfunctional franchise.
I'll say the tie in week 1 of Baker's rookie year was more embarrassing.
Baker didn't play that game. That was Tyrod Taylor.
I know. I'm just saying, like his rookie season, I say that tie was more embarrassing. They were up 13 points in the fourth quarter, going in for the ceiling score. Connor fumbles the ball. The Browns score like 13 straight points and tie it up, and then it goes overtime and it's a tie. So you had the game in the bag, and Ben played that game.
Mm-hmm.
So the year last year with the helmet thing, we're on the backup quarterback. We're terrible on offense. I wasn't embarrassed at that game. I was more embarrassed of the tie. Like, dude, we had
you
the
shouldn't
game
be.
in the
That
bag.
Cleveland team was better Baker's rookie year than the team last year. Not roster-wise, team-wise. It was a better team his rookie year. They took it. I mean, they were competitive with everybody. They weren't competitive last year. They were garbage last year. They beat your 8-8 Steelers.
Yeah. But I was more embarrassed that my Hall of Fame quarterback could not engineer a touchdown in the second half.
Okay.
Or any points for that matter.
457-9464. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here. Who is the pressure on this weekend? Is it the Cleveland Browns or Steelers? Who is facing more pressure? I think it is the Pittsburgh Steelers, because if Cleveland loses, well, they're the Cleveland Browns. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to lose to Pittsburgh. That's how it is. It's like when Ohio State, Michigan plays. Even on the years that Michigan, they're pretty good. But when they lose to Ohio State, we've gotten to the point where it's like, well, that's what they do. They lose to Ohio State. The longer the winning streak goes on for Ohio State over Michigan, the more pressure is going to start building on Ohio State at some point, because there is no pressure on Michigan. You're supposed to lose to Ohio State after a certain point, and that's where we're at with Cleveland and the Pittsburgh Steelers as far as that is concerned. Ron Howard says, I don't care what they say. Garrett will be targeted. Pouncey will be out to get his ass.
I don't think Pouncey's playing.
So you're Ron already, Ron, but thanks for playing.
He's on the injury report.
But yeah, Ron, you talked about that too. I mean, there's going to be some linemen missing for the Steelers, which, by the way,
part of the game, dog.
It's part of the game, but that's not good for Pittsburgh, because although Cleveland's defense is not that good, the strength of their defense is up front. And if Pittsburgh, that's where Cleveland's going to have to find a way to capitalize, which they've found ways to capitalize and take advantage of that the entire time. But 457-9464, that's the number to call in real quick. We're getting these to go. David Shaw says, this isn't one of those years that it's embarrassing to lose against the Browns. That sounds like the right thing to say, but that's not true, because the Browns still feel like it's the Browns.
No, y'all feel like that.
No, I listen to sports radio all day. I watch ESPN all day. I watch Fox Sports, their shows. Every one of them still do the whole, man, the Cowboys, I can't believe they lost to the Browns. And that's actually the best team that they've lost to this year, is the Browns. So, I don't know what would that even mean. I'm not even upset about it. I get it. It is still it's weird talking about the Browns being 4-1. Even the people that hate the Browns, it's weird seeing that the Browns are 4-1 as far as next man up. Give me a break with this next man up stuff. I'm so tired of hearing the typical sports, next man up mentality. Next man up mentality. It means the good guy is not there, and you better hope that the second string guy could at least just carry his weight for a little bit.
Marquise Pouncey returns to practice, but David DeCastro misses practice again. That's the latest.
Mullet. We'll see. Who do we got? 457-9464. Let's go to Chris. Chris, what's up?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey. Good.
So I'm kind of with Justin here. I think it's a bigger game for Pittsburgh because of the Browns' strength of schedule, and that being they have the easiest schedule remaining, of any team. And not only that, I think the more important games for Cleveland, I mean, and I'm a Browns fan, so I know how important the Steelers game is, but I think more important for the Browns are beating teams like the Colts, beating the Raiders, beating the teams that are going to be like that 6th and 7th seed or 5, 6, 7 seed, and getting in that way.
No, I'm with you. That's why, when you look at Cleveland's schedule coming up, so after Pittsburgh, they're at Cincinnati, they have the Raiders, Texans, Eagles, Jaguars. They are at the Titans. That's going to be a game like after this the next big game for Cleveland after Pittsburgh this weekend. Yes, since we're in the world of cliches for Kevin and David and others, the next team up, the Bengals, is the next biggest game. No, the next biggest game for the Browns is going to be that Titans matchup on December 6th. And then then they have the Ravens at home the following week, but then they close out the season against the Giants, Jets, and they close out the regular season against Pittsburgh. So,
we'll see, though, Justin, that's kind of what I'm saying, though. I'm not even sure. What I mean by this is I think the Titans are going to win that division. So then the second team to get a wild card is going to be the Colts, and we done beat them. So now we have that advantage. Like Kansas City is going to win the West. So, and I think the Vegas Raiders are going to be right there. So if we beat them,
so you're talking tiebreaker situations if it comes
Correct.
to okay. No, that's a great point as far as that goes, and Pittsburgh has to be thinking in those terms as well, because right now, I don't care how good we're talking about Cleveland. Baltimore is winning this division until I see something differently. I don't care about their loss to Kansas City. So you make a great point. Right now, it's those tie-breaking situations that are going to come into play, and I love that you bring that up, especially with the win against the Colts. That was a big one, and that Raiders game. You know what? You swayed me. That is another huge one coming up around the corner.
Because the way that I'm looking at it is they have 4 wins right now. They still play the Giants, the Jets, the Bengals, the Jaguars, and Houston. That's 9 wins. Now, if you can beat a Baltimore, you can beat a Pittsburgh or a Tennessee, now that's just extra to getting into the wild card and getting into the playoffs, because we know as Browns fans, all we want to do is make the damn playoffs.
No kidding. No kidding. And right now it's a hot start. I just hope that they don't go and embarrass themselves against Pittsburgh, and it's going to mentally just swipe what they've accomplished so far a month into the season.
Last thing on the game, I really wish we had Chubb. I really wish we had him this game. I think obviously he'll be back for that second game, but the running game wasn't like it's been last week, and I think for that we missed him a little bit.
But I love the fact that, even after they lost Chubb against Dallas, they didn't miss a beat. They kept going. They win a very tough game against the Colts the next week without Chubb. So they're finding ways that they're overcoming adversity, which shows signs of a team that's maturing. They don't win these games a year ago. I keep trying to overemphasize that, but that's the truth. They don't win these games a year ago. So I've been impressed with what they've been able to do, but I'm with you. I would love for them to have Nick Chubb going up against the Steelers team this weekend.
All right, Justin. Hey, big game. Go Browns.
Go Browns. Take care, man. Great hearing from you. All right, 457-9464. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Oh, that's my sign. That's my sign. Yeah, we're gonna
the wrong button, but it is your sign.
That's my sign. All right, we're gonna get to your phone calls. We have a couple more coming in. We're gonna get to on the other side. David Shaw says so. The Browns are already giving themselves an out. I have no clue what that even means. How are Browns fans giving themselves an out? What's the out? Oh, Kevin's already brought up the fact that they're without 3 of their starting offensive linemen. That sounds like an out to me.
And what do I always say about injuries?
Next man up.
No, I say it's part of the game. That's part of sports. Oh, well.
Next man up.
Y'all talked about Nick Chubb. Chubb's out. It's part of the game, man. OBJ.
When we come back, I'm going to tell you why you could be anything you want to be. Don't go anywhere.
Part of the game. Make up for it. Make it happen. No excuses. Ain't
you heard the music. Go to break.
Go to break.
We'll be back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Report 3. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's opponents on Man versus Train. At the crossing, we have Rick, a 175-pound frustrated man who's running late for work. And on the tracks, we have Bull, a 1 million-pound freight train that takes a mile to stop. Let's see who comes out on top.
You can't beat a train, so don't try. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by NHTSA.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? O'Reilly Auto Parts has everything you need. Our professional parts people can suggest the best products for your car and budget. Like 5 quarts of Valvoline conventional motor oil and a MicroGuard filter. Everyday low price, just $26.99. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly.
This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
After falling to the Los Angeles Lakers in the 1982 NBA Finals, the 76ers needed to find the right player to build the ultimate winning team. In September of '82, they acquired restricted free agent Moses Malone. They went on to rack up a 65-17 regular season record and followed that up with a 12-1 postseason record. Malone won the regular season and NBA Finals MVP award.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Adding a leader you need right when you need them. That's how sports teams get ahead and how your business can too. LinkedIn will match the right talent with your open roles fast. Post a job and you'll get great candidates with the right mix of skills, interest, and experience. So every hire you make is a win for your business. Go to linkedin.com/sports and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Now at Menards, save big money in your next project with 11% off everything. Menards has a great selection of ideal garage doors to choose from. Styles range from the classic look to traditional and contemporary to modern. You're sure to find a door that fits your style. All ideal garage doors are 11% off. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through October 17th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best networks, same as big carriers, but for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, for up to 50% less than the big carriers. No contract, full coverage, 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Starting route. Your destination is 0.1 miles away.
If you drive less than
500 feet, turn left. You have arrived at your destination.
If you drive less than 25 miles a day, you could be paying less every day with pay-per-mile car insurance from Allstate. You get the same reliable coverage and hands-on expertise you'd expect from Allstate, but now at a price that's tailored to the miles you drive.
Call your local Allstate agent and start paying what's right for you. Includes a daily rate. Prices vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Not applicable in California. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They are now hiring. They have brand new home daily dedicated lanes. You can earn up to $270 per day and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Medical, dental, vision insurance, along with company-paid life insurance. Outstanding brand new equipment, no-touch freight. You must have a Class A CDL, less than 6 points on your license. To apply, call Cody 937-277-7271 or apply online at CordellTransportation.com.
Staples helps your business go big with everything you need at amazing prices. From office essentials like paper and ink to health essentials like masks and sanitizer. Save big at Staples.
Buckeye fans, the season is finally here. No, for real this time. ESPN 1410 Wing AM is Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Join us for the season opener on Saturday, October 24th, when Ohio State welcomes in Nebraska. Every tackle, every touchdown, and every Buckeyes win. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
Back to the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, I have $25 in Frickers Fun Bucks to go out to those who share the page. Again, when you share the page, you'll be entered into a drawing to win $25 in Frickers Bucks. Good at all Frickers locations. So head to Facebook, search the Justin Kenner Show. When you are watching the Justin Kenner Show on Facebook, watching today's show right now, when you get there, hit the share button at the bottom. We get all the notifications here, all the names and Facebook accounts of those who share it. And we'll, of course, be having a random drawing for those of you who do share it to see who gets the $25 in Frickers Bucks. So get there now and share away. 457-9464. That's the number to call in and join in on the conversation. Browns fans, Steelers fans, NFL fans in general, any thoughts on the Steelers-Browns game coming up this weekend? Kevin and I were discussing which team faces more pressure. I think, right away I was about to say Cleveland, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, Cleveland actually, a loss to Pittsburgh doesn't bury them at all. In fact, because of how good their schedule is after this game with Pittsburgh, a win over Pittsburgh is ginormous because that's going to create some space. And then they have 5 straight winnable games that are really going to create some space between the Browns and potentially Pittsburgh. But if they lose, those same 5 games exist, and Pittsburgh still has to go on the road at Tennessee and at Baltimore in back-to-back weeks. I think that this game, there's more pressure on Pittsburgh as far as that is concerned. Let's go to the phone. We got Mike waiting on hold. Mike, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Just excited to be actually talking about football. It was a couple months ago. I didn't know if we were going to have a season. So.
No kidding. And to be able to talk about meaningful football at this point of the year for the Browns. How about that? You may not even be a Browns fan.
Exactly. I'm a Browns fan. I put a little more pressure on the Browns this game, just being a biased fan. I think, we've never really gotten over that hump of being able to be competitive with the Ravens or Steelers. And I feel like there's a good portion of the fan base who still has that fear that we could slip back into the dark ages. So while this game doesn't necessarily ruin their season, like you said, they have some easy games ahead of them. I just feel like this is a big game to bring the confidence back to Cleveland and kind of a real big turning point in the franchise, just to cement the progress we've already made.
No, that's a great point. I mean, and that's what I thought last year's win over the Steelers was going to be. If you remember back to when they beat Pittsburgh, after that game with Pittsburgh, that was like the last game of the first half of the season. And the big narrative was that the Browns, who had, basically almost buried themselves early, they had the easiest strength of schedule for the second half of the season. And then they beat Pittsburgh and then they enter that stage. And I thought, man, everything aligned for them perfectly. You had that win over Pittsburgh. And then now you get to kind of hit the road and, try to get your spot into the playoffs. And then they just crumbled from there. Of course, Myles Garrett suspended for the rest of the year, and they just never looked the same again. So we know what a win over Pittsburgh could mean. They didn't get to capitalize on that last year, and they're going to have a big opportunity coming up this weekend.
Yeah, and I think a win over a full-strength Pittsburgh would go a long way for the confidence of this program.
Mike, let me ask you something. If the Browns were to lose this game, would you have different feelings if they lost a close game or if it was a blowout game?
Yeah, I mean, a close game would obviously, not put that fear that we're going to slip into the dark ages. But, and how they bounce back goes a long way with seeing how the season will end up. But if we went in there and we got blown out by the Steelers, just like we got blown out by the Ravens in week 1, it would really it'd make me feel like I'm standing on shaky ground.
To me, a loss is going to hurt no matter what, because if you lose a close one, all you're going to be doing the whole time is saying, oh, man, we're going to look back at this, and this could be the difference between, maybe tying or being at the top for division title or just fighting for a final wild card spot and then getting blown out. That's going to – I think that you could still have confidence after losing a close game to Pittsburgh. I think the confidence is going to take a major, major hit if they get blown out by Pittsburgh. I don't think they get blown out, but it's going to be one hell of a game. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's fun to have a meaningful Browns game, and then the Buckeyes start following week. So good month for football.
Absolutely. Hey, great hearing from you, Mike. Take care.
All right, thanks. You too.
All right, 457-9464. Who's up next?
We got Rob on the line.
Rob, what's up? Welcome in, sir.
Yeah, that's Robert. Hey, what's going on?
Another day in paradise. Browns fan, Bengals fan. What's your team?
Browns fan. So I always talk to you, give you the state of the union of the dog pound.
There we go.
So I'm listening to the conversation about the importance of this game. Every game is important, but
there's another cliche.
Season,
I like this.
No. When you start your season, no matter what division you in, you always want to split your division. You want to win your home games, and you
want to lose your
division.
I know what you're saying.
This is a home game for Pittsburgh. Like we beat. Next week game is a way bigger game for Cleveland than Pittsburgh this week because we beat Cincinnati at home. So they trying to get payback next week. So far, whose game more is important? Yeah, you want to steal one on the road. You want to steal a game on the road, but mainly you want to split your division games. That means you're going to go 3-3 in the division. So if you steal one on the road, then you 4-2. So if you start your season, you say we're going to go 4-2 in the north or the east or the south, and you're going to say I had a really good division season. So on the Browns and the Pittsburgh game, yeah, everybody wants to win Sunday. No matter what two teams, as far as being a Browns fan, if we don't go and beat Pittsburgh Sunday, that just meant they held their home court. So we got them later on in the year, so you can get that game back. Just like Baltimore beat Cleveland first game of the year. And Baltimore was way more prepared than Cleveland because they was a veteran team, and we all dealing with the same COVID. But they way more prepared coming out the gate because they really didn't have no changeovers. And Cleveland had changeovers. But with that said, we got Baltimore coming to our home. We can get that game back. So basically what I'm saying is it's not no do-or-die situation for Pittsburgh win because that was like stealing one.
Well, no. And Rob, I agree with this. It's not my bad. Look, it's not a do or die for either team. That's what's beautiful about this game is that the positives of winning outweigh the negatives of losing in regards to like no team is buried. Like Pittsburgh loses, they're not buried. Cleveland loses this weekend, they're not buried. But whichever team wins this weekend is set up. Like the Browns with the win this weekend are set up for a huge bubble of success moving forward because of their schedule, strength of schedule. Also keep in mind if they can get a win over Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh without Nick Chubb, imagine just how big that's going to set up the second go round against the Steelers on the final game of the regular season in Cleveland. That could potentially be for a division title. It could potentially be for a final playoff spot. And the Browns could potentially have Nick Chubb back by then on their home field. That could be huge. So a win is very important this weekend.
I'm going to end the conversation real quick. The Browns on the road. We're on the road the next two games. At Pittsburgh, at Cincinnati. Hopefully, we can get a split, being a 4-1.
There you go.
2 wins would be like, happy day.
So happy day. There we go. It is going to be happy day.
We got 3 straight home games. Winnable games. So I would have been somewhere with the Browns still we lose all week. We're not saying we lose or we win, but it was just we're trying to steal one, and we don't steal one, we can get it back. But that's all I got to say. Thank y'all for listening.
Go Browns. Oh, you didn't let him do the Pat and Go Browns.
Oh, my bad.
Now you're ruining the mojo heading into the week.
It's hour 3, right?
Yeah, I know that. My dad says pressure is on for the Browns, in my opinion, to beat Pittsburgh to keep their momentum going. Right now, a lot of momentum, 4-1. And that's huge. Like I said, 5-1 going into that stretch of 5 straight games that was highlighted by the dang Bengals. I mean, come on, 6-1 starts is not that unrealistic if you're a Browns fan right now. Doug Toby says that the pressure is on Steve from Springboro, dude. That's who the real pressure's on, dude. All right, good stuff. We'll be back in a moment. Picks for Week 6 next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
New appliances mean a family recipe simmering on the stove and fresh sheets in the dryer. At the Home Depot, they also mean saving even more on your next appliance. Like a Hoover Wind Tunnel vacuum. Right now, just $119, delivered free. Bring style and function home with fall savings on your next appliance at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Free standard shipping and residential delivery on most orders over $45 made at HomeDepot.com. Some exclusions apply. Valid through October 21st, U.S. only.
What do you want to da-da-da? What do y'all want to da-da-da? I have no idea what to da-da-da. We could switch to Progressive da. Oh, yeah? We could switch to Progressive and sa. Okay. We could sa and have to buy some za. Oh, yeah. Let's switch to Progressive to da and get some za with the money we saw. Yeah. Now we know we're going to da-da-da.
These days, nothing is normal and everything is weird. But you could still save big when you switch to Progressive. It might just be the most normal thing you da-to-da.
Quote to da at Progressive.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
O'Reilly.
It's Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. That means you can get up to a $25 gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of your Superstart battery. Return power, performance, and reliability to your car, truck, motorcycle, and more with Superstart batteries. Only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
After falling to the Los Angeles Lakers in the 1982 NBA Finals, the 76ers needed to find the right player to build the ultimate winning team. In September of '82, they acquired restricted free agent Moses Malone. They went on to rack up a 65-17 regular season record and followed that up with a 12-1 postseason record. Malone won the regular season and NBA Finals MVP award.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Adding a leader you need right when you need them. That's how sports teams get ahead and how your business can too. LinkedIn will match the right talent with your open roles fast. Post a job and you'll get great candidates with the right mix of skills, interest, and experience. So every hire you make is a win for your business. Go to linkedin.com/sports and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Making it easier for you to get the frickin' chicken. Remember Frickers.com. That puts you in touch with everything you crave. Frickin' chicken wings, burgers, ribs, salads, wraps, everything you crave. Should you crave an ice-cold domestic draft beer? Join us and dine in. We have a 48-ounce personal pitcher for only $6. Dine in, carry out, delivery, and now order online at Frickers.com. The home for fun, food, sports, and spirits is the home to order online at Frickers.com.
The all-new Audible now gives you thousands of select audiobooks, podcasts, originals, and more, all included with membership. Try it for free for 30 days. Visit audible.com.
Hi, it's Mike Greenberg letting you know to stay tuned at 3 o'clock later today for the Justin Kinner Show. You can also stream the show live at WINGAM.com.
All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio. WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, we welcome you back. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station. Doug Toby, we were talking about the Browns and we were talking about the Steelers matchup this weekend. Which team faces more pressure? Which team is this? Which team is this matchup a bigger deal for? It's a big deal for both. Don't give me all the cliches. We know that. You guys clearly know what I'm getting at when I'm asking this question. It's really not that hard. I love when people have to redirect the narrative of the question. You have a question, you can ask a question, but my question is, which team is facing more pressure in this? Which team does this game mean more for this coming up weekend? I was all about saying Cleveland earlier in the year, but I'm looking at the games that Pittsburgh has coming out. It's definitely on Pittsburgh. Cleveland can lose this and still win the next 5, and they're still going to be 9-2. At that point with 5 games left, and they still have games at the Giants, at the Jets. The Giants, they're fine. The Browns are just fine. Pittsburgh's just fine. But this is a big matchup for both teams coming up this weekend again, mainly because whoever wins this weekend is going to obviously have an opportunity to start creating some space between one another. That's why I think this is such a big matchup for both teams if you want to give an equal answer as far as that goes. Doug Toby says that the pressure is more on Steve from Springboro, dude. And just like that, he heard it. Steve from Springboro is live with us on the air. Steve, welcome in, sir. How are you?
I'll tell you what, dudes, if we don't go whip their ass and catch a field Sunday, that Joe Turkey Jones and you guys weren't alive. You've only seen it on ESPN. I saw the game live when Joe Turkey Jones took number 12, who couldn't. Who was it? The linebacker from Dallas said if he spotted Terry Bradshaw a C and a T, he couldn't spell cat. Yeah, that was Robert Henderson, the Dallas Cowboy linebacker, I think, years ago.
Don't ask us. You were there.
Well, no, yeah. I'm trying to say you guys.
I know. I'm just. I have it up on the YouTube right now.
So the Joe Turkey Jones, when he picked up number 12 and drove him into the ground like a jackhammer. The game that me and the boy were at years ago when Joey Porter spit in William Green's face, and they both got ejected before the game started. And then last year, if that's not for nothing, and we don't go whip their ass at Ketchup Field, then trust me, it's a W for Cleveland Sunday. I'll put it out there. And if the you-know-what fans from that team over in Western Pennsylvania don't like it, let them get on the phone and say something different. Anyway, long story short, it could come down conceivably. I listened to what you were saying, and it definitely could come down to the last game in Cleveland to decide who might not even make the playoffs. And I don't know why everybody thinks Baltimore is the unpredicted crown winner of the AFC North. They've got a lot of games to play yet. They're beatable. I'm not so sure that the Eagles might get them Sunday. And if the Eagles were to beat them, we beat that team over in Pennsylvania, we're in first place. So we'll take it from there, boys, one game at a time. And I'm telling you right now, I hate that city. I hate their fans. It's amazing to me how even around this area, how there are so many Steelers fans. And you know me, Justin. You know the history of your team. You better know it if you're really a true fan. That's just the way I am. That's the way I was brought up. You know?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, watching the games with the dad, my older brothers, my uncles. You know me. You've known me for a long time. I bleed brown and orange. And as much as I hate Cincinnati, and I really don't hate Cincinnati as far as the organization, as much as I hate their fans.
Let me ask, is there a fan base outside of Cleveland that you do like?
Buffalo.
Very random, but I'll take it. You had an answer. It's all that.
They're actually a blue collar, and if Cleveland were ever to leave again, and I hope and pray to God before the good Lord takes me that they don't, but if they do, I would probably be a Buffalo fan.
Interesting.
It's a Western New York. It's a blue collar city, and that's what I'm all about. You know that, dude. And I hate everything about the other three teams, and we all know what Judas did to us years ago. We were set right there when we had Belichick. Think about the Super Bowl rings the Browns could have had Judas not sold us away to Baltimore. And we went 11-5 that year, beat Parcells in the old stadium with the Patriots. Went over to, lost to Pittsburgh the next week. I get that. If Dennis Northcutt catches that pass, we're still in the playoffs. But there again, those days are over. We're going to be just fine. I'll go ahead and put it out there, 31-17 Cleveland.
Wait, what was that again?
31-17.
31-17 Cleveland, huh? They are. I mean, they're the number one scoring team in the AFC. That's not. I mean, that's about what they're averaging a game. They're the only team averaging over 30.
I know our back end of the defense is weak. I like Ward. I don't know about what the deal is with Greedy Williams. Quit being a punk ass and get on the field and play. You're a pro now. You're not playing at LSU anymore, boy. You know what I'm saying? Call you guys tomorrow.
There he is, Steve from Springboro. Never with the loss of anything to say as far as that goes. David Shaw says the violin is playing, and he said blah blah blah. I mean, I wish Steve from Springboro had Facebook. I mean, this would be very,
boy.
you would
that could get ugly.
It definitely could. 31-17. His prediction: the Browns over the Steelers.
What's your prediction, Joe?
We're going to get into that. Are we finally going to do our pick'em? We're going to do our pick'em.
You want to do it now, or
we're going to do our pick'em? We're going to do that thing that pays the bills around here.
Yeah.
The advertising stuff, the commercial.
Let's do that.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Hold up. Ready? Hold up. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, I did it. There we go. Look at that. It's like I've done that before.
You're training for your bachelor party.
Listen, at this point, all I can afford is making it rain.
In Frickers bucks.
Whatever strip club I go to, I'll be walking in with Frickers bucks, just making it rain.
You're getting good at that, man. I'm proud of you. Very proud of you.
I'm going to look like I know what I'm doing when I go next time. Folks, listen, we do have $25 in Frickers bucks that we are waiting to give away. All you have to do is go to the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page and like and share the show today, the show that is airing right now on the Facebook page. Hit the share button at the bottom, and tomorrow we will be reaching out to the winner of the $25 in Frickers bucks. You can only win if you share the page or share the show. So that's how you'll be eligible to win. You just have to share it, and then we'll be doing a drawing tomorrow. $25 Frickers bucks. Go make it happen. Speaking of $25 in Frickers bucks, another way to win that is by participating in our weekly NFL Pro Pick'em Challenge presented by Frickers. Kevin and I, we will be filling out our Pick'em bracket when we come back. You can do it with us. Head to wingam.com. We'll be back in a moment.
Oh, look, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
We've been expecting you.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with showers, a high near 54. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a frost advisory in place, a low around 35. And tomorrow will be mainly clear with a high near 56. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
The Advantage program from Stevenson Service Experts takes the stress out of maintaining your home comfort system. Pay no money down, one low monthly rate, and nothing for maintenance and repairs. The Advantage program from Stevenson Service Experts. Learn more at 866-EXPERTS or StevensonHVAC.com. See website for license details.
Welcome to another Fantastic Four golf hole experience with the Buy Golf for Half Bogey Boys.
The Bogey Boys are in Miamisburg, Ohio today playing the classic Arthur Hills Design Pipestone Golf Club. Be sure to call for a tee time here because this course is one of the most popular in the Miami Valley. We're on the 17th tee, a par 3 and Pipestone's signature hole. I'm looking at the green, but mostly what I see is the pond right in front of me. What a beautiful golf hole. I know if I can just hit the ball flush, I could be on the green and looking at a birdie. My problem, though, is the water. It's never been a friend of mine on the golf course. So today's a pretty good day, actually. I make good contact with my 8-iron and land 6 feet from the hole. Holding my breath all the way, I putt in for my birdie. That is why I play golf, folks. You should get your pals together, book a tee time, and come out and play Pipestone. Stay tuned for more Fantastic Four golf hole experiences with the Buy Golf for Half Bogey Boys. See you at the next hole.
Visit buygolfforhalf.com for half-price golf packages from Pipestone and other great local golf courses around the Miami Valley.
Right now, Allstate has almost as many ways to save as there are types of music. Save for being a new customer. Save for driving safely. Save for driving less with pay-per-mile insurance. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent to get a quote. Find out how much you can save today. Allstate. Now that should be music to your ears.
Not available in every state. Savings based on early signing, discount drive-bys, and mile wise. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Smoothbrook, Illinois.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sure thing. We can help you with your wipers. If yours are squeaking or streaking, it's probably time to replace them. We've got great deals on wipers that can stand up to any weather. Right now, you can get a $10 AutoZone gift card by mail or email when you buy 2 Rain-X Quantum wiper blades. And with our next-day delivery and free same-day store pickup, you can get them fast. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Beware, the forces of hail will rain down upon you.
What the hail?
Storms, the threat of eternal hail.
Who the hell was that, honey?
Hail if I know.
What the hell did he want?
He was hella concerned about us getting a roof inspection.
Hell of a way to tell you about it.
Lance Roofing and Siding is your local expert in everything hail can damage on your home. Have unsightly hail damage? Visit us at lanceroofing.com to schedule your appointment today.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from The Justin Kinner Show, and I wanted to take some time to tell you about my great experiences with CertaPro Painters. That's right, my experiences, as in more than one. I've had CertaPro Painters complete quite a few painting projects for me over the years, and every time they knock it out of the park, whether it was the Ohio State themed office with the Buckeye stripe wrapped around the room, or when they painted my entire house before move-in day, I could not believe that they knocked out our entire house in just one day. CertaPro Painters knows how to get the job done right, and most importantly, safely during these times. They deliver what they promise. They show up on time, they get the job done right and on budget. Whether it is residential or commercial, interior or exterior, CertaPro Painters will take care of you from the first initial free estimate all the way up to the final brush of paint on your project. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. They are a local business that you can support. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Hi, Joey Beckett here at Buckeye Ford in Sydney, home of the Works Package and the Double Take Tire Specials. Call today for your appointment, 937-419-8473 or 1-800-700-0050. Buckeye Ford in Sydney, exit 92 off of I-75. We'll see you soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's opponents on Man versus Train. At the crossing, we have Rick, a 175-pound frustrated man who's running late for work. And on the tracks, we have Bull, a 1 million-pound freight train that takes a mile to stop. Let's see who comes out on top.
You can't beat a train, so don't try. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by NHTSA.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? O'Reilly Auto Parts has everything you need. Our professional parts people can suggest the best products for your car and budget. Like 5 quarts of Valvoline conventional motor oil and a MicroGuard filter, everyday low price, just $26.99. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Have you played Turtle Creek Golf Course yet? Formerly Greenville Country Club, Turtle Creek has local, state, and national recognition for excellence. They also have some world-class facilities, like the famous Thirsty Turtle Lounge, a full-service restaurant and bar with seating for up to 200 guests. Come try the Turtle's famous chicken wings, or Fish Fridays, Steak Saturdays, or Sunday brunch. Learn more at www.turtlecreekon36.com. Turtle Creek Golf Course and the Thirsty Turtle Lounge. Great food, great golf, and a great experience.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
After falling to the Los Angeles Lakers in the 1982 NBA Finals, the 76ers needed to find the right player to build the ultimate winning team. In September of '82, they acquired restricted free agent Moses Malone. They went on to rack up a 65-17 regular season record and followed that up with a 12-1 postseason record. Malone won the regular season and NBA Finals MVP award.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Adding a leader you need right when you need them. That's how sports teams get ahead and how your business can too. LinkedIn will match the right talent with your open roles fast. Post a job and you'll get great candidates with the right mix of skills, interest, and experience. So every hire you make is a win for your business. Go to linkedin.com/sports and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Staples helps your business go big with everything you need at amazing prices. From office essentials like paper and ink to health essentials like masks and sanitizer. Save big at Staples.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey, who wants free money? Who are we kidding? We all do. It's the ESPN Dayton #We Want to Get Paid Cash Contest. Listen for the word that wins 18 times a day, starting at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. Enter the keyword at wingam.com for your chance to win $1,000. It's the ESPN Dayton #We Want to Get Paid Cash Contest. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Fire Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Back to the famous WING studios. Here's Justin Kinner and Kev Nash.
So we previewed this yesterday. The Dayton Flyers announced the bracket for the crossover classic that they were able to jump into late. UD versus WSU. No, not that matchup, not that WSU, but Wichita State. The Dayton Flyers will match up with Wichita State on November 25th. They'll go on to face the winner. Again, the winner will go on to face the winner between Creighton and Utah. The loser will go on to face the loser of that matchup. But this is an impressive field. It features West Virginia, Texas A&M, Ohio State, Creighton, Memphis, Utah, the Dayton Flyers, and, of course, Wichita State. I'm super pumped about this. I cannot wait. I thought this was one heck of a field for the Flyers to get into. And, again, this will be the first time that Wichita State and the Flyers have faced one another since Wichita knocked the Flyers out of the NCAA tournament a few years ago, Archie Miller's last season with the Dayton Flyers. So this will be huge, and especially in a year coming up where the non-conference is difficult for a lot of people, and it's difficult for the Flyers to get games that are going to be NCAA tournament resume worthy. And a game against Wichita State, a potential game against Creighton or Utah, that's big, and that's definitely going to go a long way, especially with how deep the A-10 is going to be. And we'll talk more and focus more on college basketball as we get closer to that. I can't believe that a month from now, just over a month from now, the end of November is when the basketball season is scheduled to tip off. We'll see exactly what the college basketball season will look like, but it looks like we're well on our way to that tipping off on time, which my biggest argument has always been college basketball, it's not going to tip off on time in regards to the time that it usually does. Like right now, we should be saying that we're 2 weeks away from the season officially tipping off. It's already been pushed back. If it doesn't start at the end of November, I'll be pissed, because here's why. Why is it that the teams are allowed to play football? Why are the football teams allowed to be out on the field when, why are they allowed to be? And then basketball has to keep being pushed back. That doesn't, to me, we all know why money. Football, it's all about trying to get that money. That's why the SEC schools are loading the stadiums up with fans and all that. And, they're doing everything they can. And again, they're not wrong. That's the business side of it. All I'm saying is we know why football, we know why safety doesn't matter when it comes to football, but safety will all of a sudden be the reason that they don't play basketball on time. I'm not, that I'll be frustrated about. But let's get back into our NFL Week 6 picks. But real quick, Carlton Woods on Facebook says that he's glad that dude from Springboro is back. He said he cracks him up, dude. So there you go. We got to get his True American song back. The Hulk Hogan intro music that he gets. Let's go to the phones before Kevin and I give our Week 6 NFL picks. We got Rick. Rick, welcome in, sir. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Hey, I was on your show a couple nights ago. It was your last caller.
Uh-huh.
And I made a comment about Andy Dalton was going to be the winning Super Bowl quarterback this year.
Is he going to get traded to the Chiefs?
No, with Dallas.
Ooh,
Dallas.
Of all the hot takes I've heard, that's one of them.
Sizzling. Back when he got, when he signed with Dallas, I said to all my poker bells, I said, Dak is going to do something stupid and hold out, And once he does that, and he's going to get the job, and he's not going to give it up, and then he's going to win the Super Bowl this year for Dallas. I didn't think Dak would get hurt, but now Andy's got the job. That's a really weak division. I don't think it takes anything to make the playoffs for them. And once you get in the playoffs, anything can happen.
Well, you're right there. Once you get in the playoffs, anything can happen. And I think it's going to be, we sit there and say it's going to be easier to make the playoffs in that division. But let's be clear. It seems like it's going to be easy to make the division in that playoffs, but keep in mind that division is that we gave our top 5, bottom 5 yesterday, and my second worst team in the NFL. It's the entire NFC East division. I think it's a bad division. Now, it's not really that breaking news hot take. I think the NFC East it's a very bad division. Dallas 2-3, first place in that division. The Eagles 1-3-1 are in second. Washington 1-4 in third, and the Giants at the bottom at 0-5. Keep in mind, Dallas, you're right, could make the playoffs, and they probably will make the playoffs. Andy Dalton, I think, is going to. The Cowboys are lucky that they signed Andy Dalton because the gap between him and Dak Prescott, I don't think is that large. So I don't think they're going to lose that much at quarterback with Andy Dalton leading the offense. The problem is, Rick, is that defense. That defense is atrocious. The defense is why they will not win the Super Bowl, in my opinion. But hey, I'm not going to be angry if they do.
Yeah, I didn't think you would be.
Yeah.
All right, well, have a nice day.
Great hearing from you, Rick. You take care.
Thanks, Rick.
All right. David Shaw says, wow, please ask this guy to pass what he's on. Hey, times are tough. You don't share with anybody, David. So there you go. What?
Nothing. I'm not even touching that one. Normally I would, but
Well, there you go. Hey,
we've been wilding out lately.
Do I need to make it rain again?
Oh, God. No, wrong music. Well, they play this at those type of establishments as well.
The other one's better, but leave it alone. We like this one right here. All right, week 6 of the NFL season is officially here. So do me a favor, go to wingam.com. If you have registered, great. If you have not registered, now's your time to do so. It does not matter if you have not submitted picks in weeks 1 through 5. You are eligible to win any week of the regular season throughout the NFL year. Again, you are eligible to win $25 in Frickers Bucks by going and submitting your weekly picks at wingam.com. It's the Pro Football Pick'em Challenge presented by Frickers. Weekly winners receive $25 in Frickers Bucks, and all you have to do is, get more picks right this week than anybody else. It's that simple. So go submit your picks at wingam.com, and if you need a little help, let's get to it. Kev, let's start things off. All right, we have the Texans and the Titans Sunday, 1 p.m. the kickoff. The Tennessee COVID Titans are 3-point favorites. They are the home team. This line, considering how bad the Titans just won the other day, or how big of a win they had the other night, they took it to Buffalo. I'm surprised that a 1-4 team coming in the Texans who have not played well. I'm surprised that Tennessee's only a 3-point favorite at home.
Yeah, that's something to make you think about. Like, what do they know that we don't know?
Short rest. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
That's a good point. I'm still to go with Tennessee on that power running game. The Texans defense still hasn't been there. They're still not really able to protect Deshaun Watson. So they're going to keep rolling, man. Tennessee Titans.
All right. With that being said, so again, the Titans look, I normally wouldn't pick the Titans, but when, I want to win. I want to win this pick'em thing. So I'm going to pick the Titans. That line worries me. That I wouldn't. Man, I don't see how Tennessee's only a 3-point favorite at home with the 1-4 Texans team coming in who has not been playing well. The only thing I could think of is what we just discussed. It's a short week. The Titans, and again, it's only their fault. They were supposed to play last Sunday. Then they were going to try to do it Monday. Then they pushed it back to Tuesday. So, it's short rest. Maybe that's why. But I'm still going to pick the Titans and their matchup against the Texans this weekend. Falcons, Vikings. Now, this game may not happen.
Right.
The Falcons just shut down their facilities. So with that being said, they're going to do another round of testing tomorrow. If they go 2 days in a row with no negative or with no positive tests, then they'll be able to go. I highly doubt this game is played on Sunday, though. I would not be surprised to see this one pushed back to Monday or possibly Tuesday like we've been seeing the NFL doing. But as of right now, the Vikings are a 4-point favorite. They finally got a win on the season. They are 0-2 at home, but they are welcoming in an 0-5 Falcons team. I'm going to pick Minnesota at home. but I don't think the Vikings are that much better than the Falcons. Both of these teams have been a huge disappointment this year.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Vikings as well. They're starting to get things clicking on offense. The last 3 weeks, they scored over 28 points per game, really getting the running game going with Dalvin Cook, actually getting the passing game going, hitting Thielen and the Justin Jefferson out of LSU, the rookie. So they're starting to get things clicking on offense. Defense still a little shaky, but nobody's defense is as shaky as the Atlanta Falcons. So if you have a fantasy player that plays for the Vikings, like be a Dalvin receiver, Cook, running back, you better play him against the Falcons. They're about to put up some monster numbers.
I will say this, as bad as the Falcons have been, I've had Calvin Ridley on my fantasy team, and he's got me a couple big wins this year already. He's been one of my biggest points guys each week, surprisingly, as far as that's concerned. All right, on to the next one. The Patriots at home, 2-2. They're 2-0 at home. They're welcoming in a 1-3 Broncos team. New England is a 9.5-point favorite. It's a 45 is the over-under as far as that. I'm going to take the under in that, by the way. But I'm picking the Patriots at home. I'm excited that Cam Newton's back. I've been really a big, I've bought back into Cam Newton. Big Cam Newton fan with the way he's performed. I'm very surprised that the Patriots were not in on Le'Veon Bell. I really did think that they could have potentially gone that route, but Le'Veon Bell's still trying to pick between the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Chiefs at this moment. But for this matchup, I'm picking the Patriots over the Broncos. I don't think this is that difficult of a decision.
Rolling with the Pats, the return of Cam.
That's simple. Oh, man, how about this one? The worst game in the history of the NFL this weekend. The two teams at the bottom of the worst division possibly in the history of the NFL, the Washington football team and the New York Giants. The Giants are 0-5, Washington 1-4, and the 0-5 Giants are 2.5-point favorites at home over Washington. The Giants' defense actually is not that bad.
Right.
The Giants defensively are in the top. They're in the top 10 in a lot of major statistical categories. So I think that's why they're the favorites at home right now, because Washington's already that bad offensively. And defensively, Washington, outside of their pass rush up front, not very good in the secondary. I'm going to go with the Giants at home. They get their first win of the season. And then all of a sudden, we're going to have like a bunch of 1- and 2-win teams all jumbled in that NFC East.
Yeah, I'm going with the Washington Buckeyes, mainly because I want to see the Giants go 0-16 as well as the Jets go 0-16 so I can make fun of my aunt.
So a family affair. There you go. There you go. I mean, basically, you might as well call the Giants and the Jets the Trevor Lawrence, the race to Trevor Lawrence as far as that's concerned. Ravens, Eagles. Ravens 4-1 atop the AFC North. In the AFC North, I think all eyes are going to be on that division this weekend. Big matchup between the Browns and the Steelers. A lot on the line there. Ravens and Eagles. Look, the Eagles have been bad. They're 1-3-1 on the year. They are a 7.5-point underdog at home with Baltimore in town. 48 is the over-under as far as that's concerned. Look, I'm taking the Ravens in this, but if there is an upset alert, if there is a game that you can circle and maybe be a little gutsy and pick an upset, this could be it. But I'm just not ready to go there yet. I'm not ready to go there yet. I'm picking the Ravens. I just don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think that the Eagles playing tougher than we're anticipating.
See, this is one of those games where obviously, of course we're going to pick the Ravens. And we both end up picking the Ravens, and Philadelphia ends up winning the game because that's the NFL. I'm going to go with the Ravens, but something in me tells me Philly's going to win.
All right. Again, if you're just tuning in, it is time for our Pro Football Pick'em Challenge. Submit your weekly picks at wingam.com. $25 in Frickers Bucks awarded to the weekly winners. Again, it's the Pro Football Pick'em Challenge. Submit your picks at wingam.com. Kevin and I are making our picks at wingam.com right now as we are with you on the air. We're also with you live on Facebook. Search The Justin Kinner Show and follow along. All right. Back to the Pick'em. Up next, we have the Bears and the Panthers. Kev, Carolina, a 1.5-point favorite at home. The Bears are the worst 4-1 team I've ever seen. Now, again, that sounds disrespectful. They're still pretty good. That defense is solid. And how bad are they? They just beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're not that bad, but there is something about Nick Foles that always seems to just play his best football against Tom Brady. So there's something about that. But Nick Foles, they haven't lost since handing the reins over to. Oh no, they have one loss since handing the reins over to him. Sorry, but 4-1. I can't believe Carolina's. They're 3-2. By the way, that caught me by surprise.
They're on a 3-game winning streak. Teddy Two Gloves out here playing some good football.
They screwed up.
Here you go.
Why are you winning games right now? How stupid do you have to
All
be?
you want teams to do is lose.
No, I want them to be smart. And like, what was the point of why do you release all this talent and then go get? It's like the Patriots. Like, how dumb are you? Except you can't call the Patriots dumb. But Carolina, you don't even know how to tank, bro. Do you even tank? Like, seriously, what is wrong with you? Like 3-2, that's awesome, super, fantastic. All you've done is put yourself in a position to win 7 games this year, get a crappy draft pick, and be just as average next year. I just don't get it. But are you picking them at home? They're a 1.5 favorite.
Breaking news, they're about to be on a 4-game winning streak to make you even madder.
They're the worst losing team of all time. They don't even know how to lose. These are the 2 worst bad teams of all time, or good teams of all time.
Kenner likes no one.
My goodness. They're doing it without McCaffrey, too.
Yeah.
And by the way, let's say that they do win this.
Mm-hmm.
How long is McCaffrey out? Is he out for the year?
No. He's not out for the year. I wanted to say, I think they were 6 to 8 weeks.
David Shaw says, by the way, they aren't tanking. They can win the division. Maybe that's the case, but that was not the perception of this team all offseason. All the talk in this offseason was to reset this roster, to build around McCaffrey, and that was that. There was a lot of internal discussion, too, with that team about what do you do, because you moved on from Cam Newton, and it was one of those where they were one of the teams that were going to be in a position to potentially go and get a Trevor Lawrence or a Justin Fields, and right now they're going to end up getting some quarterback from Indiana.
I mean, they're tied at the top of the division right now with everybody. Everybody in the NFC South is 3-2 except for the Falcons. Hey, at this rate, if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can't pull away and Drew Brees still throwing 5-yard passes, why not try to take a shot? Like we said, once you get into playoffs, you never know what can happen.
Well, they're not making the playoffs. They're not going to continue.
Can I get that in writing?
I will write it. I will type it out.
So if they
I'll
make
print
the
it out.
playoffs,
I'm going to make Keith pissed because I'm going to go type it out in red ink and print it out in our color printer after he told us to be a little cautious with using the color printer.
So if they make the playoffs, what do I get?
You get the pride of picking the Panthers?
If they make the playoffs, you got to do 100 push-ups.
Damn it. I messed it up. Trying to make it rain with the Frickers Bucks. Couldn't do it. 100 push-ups, that's fine. I'll do 1 a day for 100 days. That's fine. So, no, they're not winning that division. All right? They're not winning that. But
I said playoffs.
They're not making the playoffs. They're not making the playoffs. They're not. They actually,
teams, they have to have a playoff team. They have to have playoff teams. And the playoffs have been expanded.
NFC South has 2 of them.
We'll see.
No, the Saints are fine. I know you have this weird hatred for Drew Brees.
No, I love Drew Brees.
Fine.
I used to love Drew Brees.
He's just fine. Drew Brees is fine. He's fine.
Okay. Did you watch the game on Monday?
They're 3-2. I'm fine with the 3-2. Okay. They're fine. It's Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
I mean, there's no Mason Rudolph. All right, he's no Mason Rudolph. You got me all fired up. You got me all fired. Off season doesn't matter. Only matters when the games are played. Oh, here we go. More of these. You guys are so adorable. You guys should write a children's book. All right, here's David Shaw and Kev Nash's rules to sports for kids. All right, everyone, it's just take 1 game at a time. Okay, every day you got to get better. Off season doesn't matter. It's only mattered about Oh, good Lord, you make me sick.
Hey, man.
All right, on to the next game. 1 game at a time. Okay,
absolutely.
Up next, so to sum up, I'm going for the Bears more now than I ever have. Go Bears!
But you also hate the Bears.
But I like them more than the Panthers at this point.
You have a track record of liking no one.
You're not too high on my list right now. All right, so Detroit, they're 3-point favorites on the road at the Jaguars. There's a lot of bad teams. I'm telling you, this is the worst I've seen the NFL in a while.
Pam's Lions get another win.
Do you agree? This is bad. There's a lot of bad football in the NFL this year. I don't think so. I think it's worse
every year.
I think it's worse than usual. And I'm not trying to argue with them. Just being I really do feel like my gut tells me every one of these matchups has been bad. Bears, Panthers, ugh. Lions, Jaguars, ugh. Jets, Dolphins, ugh. Rams, Niners, ugh. This is Washington Giants, ugh. Falcons, Vikings, ugh. Ugh. I'm not that wrong. I mean, that's a lot of ugh.
It's like that every year, man.
It's not that. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that bad.
It is.
Ugh. Okay. So I'm picking the Jaguars at home over the Lions. I think this one. I mean, look, the Lions a 3-point favorite on the road. The Jaguars they looked okay to start the season, but they look like a team that unloaded all their talent off their roster. All right, that they are who they are. Jets and Dolphins. The Dolphins are 9.5-point favorites at home, welcoming in the Jets. The Jets are one of the biggest dumpster fires in the National Football League right now. The Jets lose Le'Veon Bell. The Dolphins, who they're on the road playing, one of the favorites to land Le'Veon Bell. I don't think he'll be on the Dolphins by this Sunday, so it doesn't matter. Dolphins a 9.5-point favorite. That's a big line for a bad team welcoming in another bad team. How bad do you have to be a 9.5-point dog at another bad team?
Fins win. Another great game by Fitzmagic, and another reason why he always ends up starting games because he has great games like he did last week. He'll do it again this week because the Jets are garbage.
Oh, yeah. By the way, another garbage game. Cardinals-Cowboys. All right. Cowboys are a 1.5-point dog at home. Andy Dalton making his first official true start as a Dallas Cowboy. I'm taking the Cowboys, and I take them by 7.
I'm going to go with the Cardinals. And if you got Kyler Murray, you got DeAndre Hopkins on your fantasy team, start them.
Disrespect.
5 touchdowns. It's going to be a shootout, baby.
Don't disrespect. The Cowboys are in first place. Don't disrespect the first place team.
Are they? I thought
they're in first place. No. The Cowboys are 2-3. They have more wins than anyone else in that division.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
Yep. Tallest short person. That's the Cowboys at this point. What are you really winning there? Chiefs and Bills.
Ooh.
Kansas City, a 3.5-point favorite. I was more excited about this game until I watched the game the other night and watched the Bills just get embarrassed against the COVID Titans. I don't know how to feel about this. This is a big game for the Bills because you cannot get blown out. You can't get beat badly back-to-back weeks against two good quality teams. Because right now everyone's looking at the Bills and they're putting them in the category as one of the top quality teams in the NFL. You can't remain in that conversation if you get waxed by the Titans and smacked by the Chiefs on national TV in back-to-back weeks. So you just can't do it. Kansas City, a 3.5-point favorite. I'm going to pick the Bills in this. I think that the Bills, there's a lot of people who are in the middle on that. I'm picking the Bills over the Chiefs in this one, although that would mean back-to-back losses for the Chiefs. I think that the Chiefs lose this, and that's what really puts the pressure on them to get Le'Veon Bell because they have to up the ante a little bit. So I'm picking the Bills.
More weapons. 3 things about this game, man. 1, like you said, both teams are coming off losses, so this game is huge. 3, 5 o'clock kick on Monday. That's pretty cool. We're going to be on the air with Monday Night Football on.
Oh, why? Because they moved everything. Oh, yeah. Because why?
The Rona.
Because of the COVID Titans.
The Rona. I'm going to go. Do I want to pull? I'm going with Buffalo. I'm going to say the champs lose 2 in a row. I'm going to go ahead and say it.
So you're going with Buffalo too, huh?
Yeah, man.
You made me feel crazy when I picked him, but then okay. No, I really do. I think Buffalo is desperate right now. The Chiefs they can lose 2 in a row, and they're still the reigning defending Super Bowl champions with MVP, super quarterback Patrick Mahomes. I think the Chiefs will be fine. The Bills, if they lose 2 in a row like that, I'm not saying that they're done for the year, but I definitely think that their confidence takes a hit, and I think that they maybe start taking a step in the wrong direction. I think this is a bigger game for the Bills. The Bills have to get this one. Plus, they're at home. That's key as well. Niners, a 3-point favorite on the road. 49ers, look, the Niners took a major step back. We've seen this so many times where a team that makes the Super Bowl and loses, they just become they just never seem to be able to get it back. The Falcons are another prime example I could think of. The Niners, they're hit by injuries.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more issues there than just a couple of the injuries that they have. I'm picking the Rams on the road in an easy one. The Rams are going to be 5-1, in my opinion, after week 6. Good for them.
Crazy. I'm going to go with the Rams as well. But like you said, with San Fran, they're banged up with injuries. Not only injuries, season-ending injuries. And Jimmy G came back last week versus the fans. And it just seems like, they're always on the road. Like, I know they're at home this game, but it seems like they were always on the road to start out the season. Jimmy G got in the game last week versus the fans, was looking terrible. He got pulled, and they ended up pulling the backup to put in the 3rd-string guy. It was just a rough outing for the 49ers. And I'm seeing 7 wins at the max for the 49ers based off the injuries and just, that Super Bowl hangover situation.
It's the Justin Kinder Show with Kevin Nash, live here on 1410 ESPN Radio. We are giving you our pro football pick'em picks. It's the Pro Football Pick'em Challenge presented by Frickers. Submit your weekly picks at wingam.com. Kevin and I are giving you our weekly picks right now for week 6. No Thursday night football tonight. Thank you, Titans. Again, Titans ruin everything.
What are you going to watch on TV instead of football?
Probably watch House again. I'm on this House kick right now.
What time you go to bed last night?
2 a.m. A little later than that. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. And I can't stay up late anymore. Anyways, besides this, but we're running out of time. The Packers are at Ron's Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are 3-2 on the season. Look, I'm excited about this one. Look, I think right now Green Bay's a 1-point favorite on the road at the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers win. This is the first good defense. I mean, right now everyone's talking about how great Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur, they're getting along, how great the team is doing. They're winning. But they've yet to even, like we saw last year when they got rattled, when they played good teams, things didn't go as smoothly. This is the first really good defense that they have played this year. And I think that you're going to start to see a little crack in that foundation. I like the Packers. They've been in my top 5 for weeks now, but I'm going to pick the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers, we've yet to see Tom Brady get that staple win. This is going to be that staple win that really propels the Buccaneers forward.
Hey, Ron, you listening? Ron, the curse of Kinder just kissed your Buccaneers.
Did I say 4-2 or 3-2 or 5-2? I don't even know what win they're on in the season.
They're currently 3-2, but they're going to be 4-2 after this one. I just think this game is more important to Tampa Bay, with everybody in their division being log jammed at 3-2. Green Bay eventually is going to lose a game. Why not it be to the GOAT, Tom Brady?
All right, and then we close it out with these 2 games. The Colts are at home, coming off a tough loss. They're 3-2 on the year, coming off a tough loss against the Cleveland Browns. Phillip Rivers looked bad. Don't know how much longer he's going to remain the starter in Indianapolis. They are a 7.5-point favorite against a very bad Bengals team, 1-3-1. I think the Bengals get blown out again. That defense for the Colts, I mean, you saw Joe Burrow only drop back 30 times last week, still got sacked 7 or 8 times. I think you're going to see the same thing. I don't think he'll get sacked 7 or 8 times. He'll get sacked around 5. It's still going to be a painful day for Joe Burrow, and we'll continue to watch an organization nearly kill their investment, and it's just going to be another embarrassing weekend for the Cincinnati Bengals. They are a joke. I'm picking the Colts, and the Colts win big.
Bengals win this game.
Oh, you're serious?
Yes, Phillip Rivers is a turnover machine. He's been turning the ball over for the last 4 years now. As long as Cincinnati linebackers are able to catch it, he'll throw it to them. He'll give you at least 3 chances to intercept the ball. All you got to do is intercept 2 of them, and you win this game. Bengals win this game.
Scott Webb says, Kinner, there is no I in Jaguars. They are not the Jaguars. The Jaguars. What do you want me? Hey, I don't care. That's how I say it. That's just the bottom line. People got used to hate how I say Dayton. I fixed how I say Dayton. And now everyone's moved on to the next thing. I don't say the Jaguars right. Well, really, Scott, of everything going on in the world, the way I say Jaguars just made you stop in what you're doing today to correct me on how to say Jaguars. It's okay. It's okay. All right, on to the last one. The Browns and the Steelers. Pittsburgh, a 3.5-point favorite at home. Look, I'm not doing this whole making an excuse thing. OBJ is a big difference maker in this offense. If he does not play, I am picking the Steelers. Oh, you recording me? This is okay, fine. This is fair. If the Browns have OBJ on Sunday, they're already without Nick Chubb. I am picking the Browns over the Steelers in a close one with OBJ. If OBJ does not play on Sunday, the Browns lose by 1 possession. So there you go. I'm picking the Browns over the Steelers. For the purpose of the Pro Pick'em, I have to pick the Browns, but I'm telling you right now, I will change that when that injury report comes out and he's not active and ready to go for Sunday. Okay, that's not an excuse. That's common sense. So there you go.
Steve, he's hedging his bets. He doesn't believe in y'all team, man. You should be ashamed of yourself,
how dumb
man.
am I? Yeah, teams without one of their best players. Yeah, I should stick with them. No, that's dumb. Frickers Bucks is on the line, man. Frickers Bucks. Oh, that's the wrong side. There we go. Frickers Bucks.
There you go. I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to depend on our defense to stop the run game, and Big Ben with play action passes and taking shots downfield versus a weak secondary. You know, all you got to do really is stay away from Denzel Ward and put Sendejo in coverage. And we got the receivers to do it. Go Steelers.
The Steelers suck. They haven't beat anybody, and they're about to lose to the first somebody that they play coming up.
This ain't college football,
this
man.
Sunday. So there you go. All right, folks, have a great night. That wraps it up for us. Until tomorrow, this has been the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. How are we heading into Friday already? Have a happy night. Take care. There we go. Oh, real quick. I've been practicing this, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Damn it. So close. So close. Have a good night, everybody.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right